Thank you for tuning into another episode of Classified Captures. Steve here, and today I've got a collection of clips ranging from watermelon tasting and looking like meat to midnight feasts from skinwalkers that's sure to make even the bravest of hearts faint. Ready for today's adventure? Well, let's jump right in. Starting today's episode, we've got a strange and rather curious creature. Perhaps you should see it yourself. This definitely doesn't look like anything you and I have encountered in our lives, does it? Well, I shouldn't speak for you because I've no idea what you've experienced, but this certainly is not normal. It looks like a humanoid creature with a mechanical makeup and wings attached. I know that's a mouthful, but it describes the exact thing we're dealing with right now. Once more, it appears to be moving its legs. The face shows no signs of life because, well, it doesn't look like skin or flesh. Naturally, I showed this to my team, and a number of them thought it might be a toy. Aaron, on the other hand, thought it might be a living creature from a plane that's not ours. For those who don't know Aaron, he's our conspiracy theorist, and he sees some conspiracy here. Our science whiz Julius, however, thinks this was put out there by someone to mislead the paranormal community. What do you think, though? Could this thing be alive, or are we simply trying to find a story where there isn't one? Share your thoughts. Stepping away from the mechanical wonder, we've got another being that's left us a tad conflicted. That's not normal, right? That's a human being moving on all fours in a manner that's definitely a bit weird. Beyond that, he's barely had any clothes on and appears to be slender, much more slender than you would expect a normal man to be. A closer look and you'll realize that his ankles are bent in a way you would expect an animal to be. The owner of the CCTV cam saw this and alerted the neighbors. One of them reported that their home had been broken into, and the cams confirmed it was this person or creature. The question now is, who or what do you think this person is, and why is it roaming the neighborhood? The truth is, no one knows. Some think it may be a skinwalker, while others think the whole thing might be a hoax. Which of these schools of thought do you subscribe to? Dogs protect their owners from physical harm, but what do you do when you can't see what your dogs are trying to protect you from? Confused? Well, watch this. It was a peaceful evening until the dog of the one filming started barking. Thinking someone might have snuck into the house, he quickly went to check the feed from his CCTV cameras, and what you're seeing on your screen is exactly what he saw. You do see it, don't you? Some invisible yet smoky and intangible being quickly ran across the compound or room. It repeats a few more times, and there's still no tangible body in sight. The man is confused, and I can understand his confusion. I'm sure he was worried and thinking about what exactly had made its way to his home and how he could deal with it. Sure, he could trust his dog to deal with physical foes, but spiritual and intangible ones? Where does he go from there? Anyway, what do you think we could be dealing with? Share your thoughts with me in the comments section. If you're wondering why I'm showing you pictures of an old bench, take a good look at it. Do you see it now? There appears to be a shadow of a woman either sitting on or kneeling by the bench. See? Good. But how do we explain it? Well, as far as I can tell, there's no logical explanation for what we're seeing here. At least not from my perspective. Do you have one for me? Speaking of strange and unexplainable phenomena, take a look at this one. A group of explorers allegedly came across this previously uncontacted tribe deep in the woods. The tribe was naturally careful of their strange and uninvited visitors. They looked at them with confusion and tried to scare them off. Despite their best efforts, these individuals stayed and recorded them. Now, we're not told where this took place, but it's supposed to be deep within the woods. The first time I saw this, I was genuinely afraid for the explorers, because uncontacted tribes don't mess around. They could definitely kill you if they thought you were a threat. These guys, however, were way too understanding and did not harm the explorers despite being provoked. That's when I noticed it. Although this was supposed to be out in the deep woods, there appeared to be a tarred road in one of the shots. If this was an uncontacted tribe deep in the woods, then it's unlikely that there would be tarred roads anywhere near them. This does bring credibility to the whole clip into question. What do you guys think? Screams and an eerie atmosphere, coupled with the fact that this was recorded at 1 o'clock in the morning, gives this clip all the important ingredients for a horror thriller recipe. Watching this for the first time made my skin crawl. It felt ominous, as though something evil was in the atmosphere. After watching the clip several times, I realized that the entity was actually screaming something. I did the research and realized she was screaming in an Indonesian language. She screamed, "Tolong bukain," which means, "please open it." This went on for 2 days, and for some odd reason, the individual whose house this was happening decided to open the door on the 3rd day of knocking. Once the door opens, there's a strange and perhaps old-looking woman standing behind it in a strange posture. This makes the individual quickly close the door and call the police. Once the police got there, however, whatever it was gone, never to be seen again. I think it was insane to open the door. It could have been anyone or anything out there, but perhaps that's just me. What would you have done in his shoes?
Oh my gosh.
This is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
It sounds like a goat is dying.
What in the heck?
We have mentioned time and time again how fruits are becoming strange on the market. This family allegedly bought a seedless watermelon from Walmart, and whilst cutting through it, it made strange sounds. Pay attention.
It sounds like a goat is dying.
What in the heck?
You heard that right. It's strange and very unnatural. For some reason, however, we keep coming across more of such fruit clips, which has left the team worried. We feel like it's our responsibility to warn you guys, so please be careful out there.
We bought like an acid ball watermelon.
Ew. It doesn't smell good. Oh my gosh.
That thing was fizzing and popping.
Watermelon out over a week ago. It smelled really good. Bought it from Walmart. Cut it open and it was like plastic. Tasting it was absolutely horrible. I didn't really know what to do with it, so I threw it outside. This is a week later. It looks like mud. What's going on?
This is another clip from another set of melons allegedly bought from Walmart and thrown away because they tasted strange. Do you realize they aren't breaking down and looking like raw meat? Melons aren't supposed to look like that, which has left almost everyone confused, as many in the forums argued that the government was killing us. There was also some who thought that this was normal and exactly what melons are supposed to look like when they dry out. Do we have any farmers or fruit experts among you who can confirm and educate us? We'll be reading in the comments.
This is a week later. It looks like mud. What's going on?
And if you didn't think any of those clips were weird enough, pay attention to the flower the young guy drops on the coffin. Did you see that? It somehow got absorbed into the coffin, almost as though whomever was buried was taking it. This freaked me out and is still freaking me out. Can anyone offer an explanation to what would make sense? If you have such an experience as well, please share. It's always wise to stay vigilant and aware of your surroundings, especially in situations that can turn unsettling quickly. Take the story of Tiana and Amber, for instance.
Hi. Oh my god, Tiana, go. Go. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
One night they were out in Melbourne grabbing a bite at McDonald's. Tiana was at the wheel while Amber was in the back seat with her dog. What happened next was like something out of a horror movie. Suddenly, Tiana locks the doors and rolls up the windows. Amber is confused at first, but then she sees it too, a pale-faced woman with dark, haunting eyes approaching the car. There was something deeply unsettling and almost inhuman about her appearance. She tried to get into the car, and her intention seemed anything but friendly. Both girls were terrified, and even Amber's dog started growling at the eerie figure. Amber shouted for Tiana to drive, and within seconds they sped away. When they shared the video of their encounter, it quickly caught people's attention. Comments poured in, with many claiming to have seen the same woman attempting to break into the home. Despite numerous sightings, no one seemed to know who or what she was. Some speculated she could be a zombie, while others argued she might be a skinwalker. Personally, I have my reservations, but what do you think?
Oh, Tiana, go. Go. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I haven't said this before, but this time I need to. Whatever you do, do not try what you are about to see in this clip at home.
Yeah, that might be it.
Hey, we got it.
Try it again.
No way! No way!
In the clip, you can see two cars with two men standing between them. Both men have one hand on a car battery and their free hand holding each other. One man stands on the ground while the other leans on one car with his feet propped up on another. Miraculously, the car starts without using jumper cables. A commenter who claimed to be an auto tech with almost 15 years of experience shared his insight. As an auto tech of almost 15 years, I'd say it is plausible given the guy in the vehicle jumping the other car has himself grounded to both cars. The other guy holding his hand is on the actual ground. They have completed the circuit like jumper cables would. Some sketchy stuff, but it's possible. So is this the case here? Can humans really complete an electrical circuit to jumpstart a car? Well, as you would expect, there was an ongoing war in the comments section. Some thought it was possible, with the only catch being the electricity going through their bodies was bad for their hearts. Others simply thought it was ludicrous. They thought the clip might have been edited or that the car didn't really need to be jump-started. This is out of my expertise, and Julius, our science whiz, only laughs when I ask if this is possible. So in times like this, I turn to you all who are experts in this field with a humble heart and puppy eyes. Could you please tell us all if this is possible, as we'd really love to learn from you.
No way! No way!
There are stories of creatures that make strange sounds to lure people toward them, only to attack or capture them. One such creature known for this behavior is the skinwalker. Apart from their ability to shapeshift, skinwalkers are said to use eerie sounds to draw people in. Take this footage, for instance. Someone was out one night when they began hearing a strange noise. It sounded like some sort of gurgling or choking sound. Yet as they looked ahead toward where the sound was coming from, there was no one and nothing in sight. The person scanned the area with their camera, but the source of the noise was nowhere in sight. The footage ends without revealing the source of the sound, leaving viewers to speculate. Some believe it was a genuine skinwalker encounter, citing the creature's notorious reputation for using sound to disorient and trap its victims. Others suggested it might have been an animal or even a clever hoax. As intriguing as these sound, I'd like to hear from you. What do you think of everything? You know that haunting feeling of being watched that leaves the hairs on your skin raised? A woman experienced this chilling sensation whilst out in the woods in broad daylight in Connecticut. She stumbled upon an abandoned shack, and as she got closer, she began to feel uneasy, as if she was not alone and someone or something was watching her. To settle her fears, she took out a camera and began to look around but saw nothing, so she decided to return home. At home, she reviewed the footage to see if she had missed anything during her initial search. As she scrutinized the video, she saw it. A dark figure crouched at the side of the shack, its neck stretched out and staring right at her. This figure didn't resemble any wildlife animal she knew, and the sight of it sent chills down her spine. Disturbed by her discovery, she shared the footage online, hoping to find out what this eerie figure could be. The video started quite an uproar among viewers. Some suggested it could be a shadow person, a type of paranormal entity often reported in haunted locations. Others speculated it might be a cryptid, a creature whose existence is suggested but not scientifically confirmed, like Bigfoot or the Jersey Devil. A few skeptics proposed that the figure could be a trick of the light or a result of pareidolia, where the human mind sees familiar patterns like faces and random objects. Some even thought it might be a person living in the shack, possibly a hermit or someone hiding from society. What do you think it is? These days, there are a lot of sights in the sky which more often than not don't add up. From orbs to light formations that resemble saucers to shape-shifting objects, the skies seem to be filled with mysteries. Someone recently shared this intriguing footage of a strange light up in the sky moving at a questionable speed. The footage shows a bright, distinct light moving across the sky in a manner that defies the usual patterns of conventional aircraft. Its speed and the way it maneuvers suggest it could be something extraordinary. This object is obviously not the everyday plane you and I use. It looks more like a spacecraft of some sort. Having seen it, what do you think? Could this be advanced human tech that's being kept from the public eye, or are we witnessing something from another world? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Here we have another strange sighting in the sky.
I think the sky is ripped in half. Come on, clouds, get out the way.
A man noticed a straight line cutting across the sky, almost as if the sky itself was being divided by this line. This phenomenon is quite puzzling and has left many people wondering about its origin. The footage shows a clear, straight line that appears almost too perfect to be natural. It stretches across the horizon, creating a stark contrast between the two halves of the sky. This has raised numerous questions and speculations. Some speculate that it is a sign of advanced technology or even extraterrestrial activity. The precision of the line looks like the involvement of technology beyond what we currently understand, perhaps UFOs or secret military experiments. Others are considering the possibility of a naturally occurring optical illusion. Reflections, refractions, and light scattering can sometimes create surprising visual effects, making the sky appear divided by a line. Do you think this could be the result of any of those, or do you think there might be something more serious and ominous at play here? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.
Y'all see the line?
Children are very playful and imaginative, often having the wildest of imaginations. However, it's also believed that they are more attuned to the spiritual realm because of their innocence, making them more likely to see things that adults cannot.
Oh my God!
What's the matter?
I just want to sleep with you now.
A mother placed a camera in her daughter's room after the girl started waking up in the middle of the night, screaming that an evil man was watching her. What she captured during one of those nights is chilling. By the bed was a strange-looking face, staring right at the girl. In another footage, the woman heard strange noises coming from her daughter's room. But when she checked, there was no one there. This indicates that the child was not just seeing things, but the question remains, what could this entity be, and why is it targeting the little girl? Pigeons, like all birds, have wings and feathers. The clip I'm about to show you, however, features a pigeon that was captured with strange markings in its wings that were only visible under UV light. Enjoy. You see it, don't you? This naturally left all who saw it with questions. Could pigeons still be in use as spy birds? Have secret organizations found a way to alter their bodies to suit their needs? It's hard to say, but who can argue with evidence? It's right there, unless of course the whole thing is a hoax and someone is having a laugh seeing us trying to figure this out. As always, I showed this to my science whiz Julius, waiting to be teased, but instead he was quiet. That's his way of saying, I don't think this is real, but it's not impossible to pull off. You've seen it too. What do you think is going on here? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.
Walk to the end of this tunnel, see what's back here.
If you searched hard enough on your next visit to Los Angeles, you're sure to find an extensive network of abandoned tunnels that were used to secretly transport alcohol and other goods. There are an estimated 91 tunnels crisscrossing beneath the city that were originally constructed during the Prohibition era for the purpose of secret goods transport. Over the years, the tunnels have served various purposes beyond their initial use. They've been utilized for transportation, connecting key parts of the city, and providing passageways for utility conduits. These tunnels are a significant, albeit hidden, part of Los Angeles infrastructure. Today, many of these tunnels are inaccessible, either sealed off or restricted to the public. Despite this, they remain a fascinating element of the city's history, a testament to its adaptive and clandestine past. The stories and legends surrounding these tunnels continue to intrigue both locals and visitors, preserving their legacy as a mysterious and integral component of Los Angeles. A part of me wants to investigate these tunnels, but who knows what we'll find down there. That's without considering the laws we'll be breaking. Has any of you seen these tunnels? Any stories to share? Although technology has made incredible strides in recent years, there has always been groundbreaking and innovative ideas that paved the way for today's advancements. Take, for example, this alleged clip of the Toyota Townhouse concept car designed in 1991. This forward-thinking design envisioned a future where cars were not just vehicles but integrated living spaces. The Toyota Townhouse was allegedly more than just a car. It was a mobile home equipped with various features that made it possible to live comfortably while on the move. The design included a spacious interior that could be reconfigured for different purposes, such as sleeping, working, or relaxing. It even supposedly had amenities that would rival those of a small apartment. This concept was a bold step towards imagining how vehicles could be more than just a means of transportation. It showed the potential for cars to become versatile living spaces, reflecting a lifestyle of mobility and flexibility that's increasingly relevant today. After coming across this, I found it a refreshing look into the past, but try as I may, I couldn't find a lot of sources with info on this car. If you were much older in the 90s, can you confirm if you saw this or not? The AI revolution is here, and no one is safe, not even artists.
AI created music.
Now, Julia, you are like the sun.
Have you heard about the new feature on YouTube Shorts? It's pretty incredible. Users can now create any song they want using the voices of their favorite artists. Imagine remixing a classic tune or creating an entirely new track with the vocals of top musicians. This feature opens up a world of creative possibilities for aspiring musicians and content creators alike. You can experiment with different genres, mix various artists' voices, and produce unique music videos. It's like having a virtual studio at your fingertips. Not only does this bring fun, interactive element to YouTube Shorts, but it also allows fans to engage with their favorite artists in a completely new way. Whether you're a seasoned musician or just someone who loves to play around with music, this feature is something for everyone. While this must be exciting for the fans, you have to wonder, how will the actual artists feel? It's almost impossible for them to sue since this is being developed in conjunction with the major studios out there. In other words, artists don't have much of a say. Am I the only one who finds this innovation sad? Anyway, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section.
Drinking tequila, hanging with my friends.
Yeah, AI is crazy, bro.
I got 1,000 people watching me.
Bro, I ain't made a song like this in years.
There are things people expect to happen at 2 o'clock in the morning, and being woken up by a cat crying is not one of them.
¿Qué onda eso?
Now, this man doesn't own a cat, yet the cries were so loud it sounded like the cat was inside his house. He went to investigate and found something even more disturbing. Behind the storage closet, he saw the figure of a child about 10 years old, which is odd since his children are only 3 and 4 years old. Once more, his children were fast asleep in their rooms. He opened the closet door, heart pounding, but found no one there. That was not normal, and it left him shaken. And I understand that. If I had my kids in a house where these things were happening, I'd be concerned too. So who or what was the figure behind the closet? This situation is incredibly eerie. The combination of the mysterious cat's cries and the apparition of a childlike figure is enough to send chills down anyone's spine. What do you think the man encountered that night? Stepping away from the strange, I've got something fascinating for you. Take a good look. In the clip, you can see what looks like a jellyfish moving gracefully through the water. Its bell has beautiful detailed patterns, and its long flowing tentacles drift behind. While these tentacles can sting, they also highlight the stunning beauty and fascinating complexity of the jellyfish. This creature is known as a chirodectis. Chirodectis is a rare and mesmerizing species of box jellyfish discovered in the mysterious depths of the ocean. Unlike many other jellyfish, Chirodectis exhibit unique and captivating features. Its translucent body and pulsating movements give it an almost otherworldly appearance. Seeing the Chirodectis jellyfish showcases the amazing variety of life in the deep sea, a realm that's still largely unexplored and full of mysteries. The ocean's depths are teeming with countless undiscovered species, each with its own unique way of surviving and adapting to the harsh conditions. I know I've said it before, but it's a wonderful world, isn't it? This image was taken at night, and you can definitely tell just by how grainy the whole thing looks. Given the fact that the image was taken at night, only the outline of the creature captured in it is visible. The dark, shadowy figure stands out against the dim background, making it difficult to discern any specific features beyond its unusual head size and familiar bipedal stance. Could this really be? Yeah, if you said Bigfoot, then you were definitely thinking what I was thinking. Bigfoot is typically described as an ape-like creature with a domed head and a human-like posture. This creature resembles a Bigfoot, except that it has a very small head. Is this just a small-headed Bigfoot, or is there something else going on here? Calling on all Bigfoot experts, please educate us. Next, we've got a peculiar and curious situation. A man put a fish into an opening that led to a body of water below, and suddenly something snapped the body of the fish off, leaving just the head in his hand. Just like me, I know you might be wondering what creature could be down there that took the fish from his hand. The possibilities are intriguing and alarming. It could be a large predatory fish like a pike or a barracuda, known for their powerful jaws and swift, deadly strikes. Another possibility is an alligator or a crocodile if the water connects to an area where these reptiles live. With their formidable bite strength and lightning-fast reactions, they can easily snap up a fish, leaving a stunned onlooker with just the remnants. The truth, however, is simple. It's hard to tell what we're dealing with. The man, however, appears to know what's down there. One thing we can be happy and thankful for is the fact that at least the man's fingers are intact. A man was walking by a school when he noticed something strange. The school bus in the yard had children's figures running in it. However, it wasn't time for kids to be outside. The bus wasn't meant for playing. So what exactly could be going on here? Curious, the man got closer to the bus to investigate, only to find out that what he thought were kids had eerily vanished from the bus. When he shared his story, those who heard it believed these figures were spirits of children who had passed away or childlike entities. However, skeptics argue that this could just be a well-crafted hoax. They suggest that reflections, shadows, or even projections could create the illusion of children inside the bus. Yet a similar incident occurred where a camera on a bus showed it filled with kids, and in the next second they'd all vanished. Is this a mere trick of light and shadow, or is something truly out of this world happening? In Mexico, there's a famous entity known as La Llorona. This spirit of a woman is mostly seen weeping, and when people hear ominous cries at night, they often believe it's La Llorona. However, in this footage, a man encountered something entirely different.
Aquí anda algo. No mames, miren esa madresota. No mames. ¿Quién eres, güey? No mames, ¿quién eres? Ay, capaz, hijo de su puta madre. No mames.
At first, he heard strange sounds like a woman weeping and whimpering, but couldn't see what it was. He kept calling out to it, trying to locate the source of the eerie cries. Suddenly, emerging from the dark was a huge dark figure crawling toward him. Terrified, the man ran out of there as fast as he could. The question remains, what did he encounter? While the wailing matched the traditional description, the appearance of the large crawling figure deviates from the typical ghostly image. What do you think this dark figure could be?
No mames, miren esa madresota. No mames. ¿Quién eres, güey? No mames, ¿quién eres? Ay, capaz, hijo de su puta.
While on a hike, a man saw a huge creature standing on a mountain overlooking the trail. It was a very big humanoid being appearing to be about 9 foot tall or more. The sheer size of this creature has led many to believe that it could be a Bigfoot or a giant. The figure's towering presence and human-like shape are certainly striking, making it easy to see why people would draw such conclusions. The idea of encountering a Bigfoot or a giant is both thrilling and unsettling, sparking curiosity and debate. What do you think? Could this be a genuine sighting of a legendary creature, or is there another explanation? Is this how full chicken is made or processed? In this clip, someone picked up a dressed chicken and inserts a strange-looking tube into it through the neck. As they pump the substance into the chicken, it swells up and looks plump, like a fat chicken. We're not sure what's being pumped into the chicken, but it certainly doesn't look healthy. The substance being injected could be anything from water to chemical fillers, which raises significant concerns about food safety and consumer health. It's alarming to think that this practice might be used to artificially enhance the appearance of poultry, making it seem more appealing and increasing its weight for higher sales. If true, this could mean that consumers are unknowingly buying adulterated products, potentially exposing themselves to harmful substances. Am I the only one worried about what's happening to our food recently? What would your reaction be if you spotted Tinkerbell gracefully flying in your backyard? Well, the following footage was captured by a homeowner's security camera in their backyard. An insect initially appeared fluttering across the camera's field of view, but as the recording continued, it became evident that this was no ordinary insect. The peculiar creature exhibited human-like features, a distinct head, 2 arms, and a pair of legs, reminiscent of a fairy minus the iconic pixie dust. The creature circled the camera lens almost as if it intentionally sought to be noticed before gracefully taking flight and disappearing into the surroundings. But wait a second, before we start believing that our backyard has become the secret gateway to enchanted worlds, let's hit the brakes on our imagination for a moment. As mesmerizing as it sounds, the magic might not be as real as we hope. Turns out that insect with human-like features was a masterful creation like a CGI wizardry trick that had us all reaching for our fairy-sized wands. At least that's what the logical guys said to us, the paranormal-believing sects. What do you think about this one? Could we be dealing with a real-life fairy, or are the logical guys right? This is all just CGI. Of course, we couldn't leave out a segment on Bigfoot, but this time, instead of presenting Bigfoot itself, we're bringing you evidence of its existence. Ready? Just watch. In the footage, individuals are seen stepping into unusually large tracks resembling a massive foot. And here's the twist. This wasn't just a photo-taking spree. These pictures were actually taken by individuals and submitted to the park ranger's office, believe it or not. These images originate from Canyonlands National Park, and if you're familiar with that area, you know it's not a place known for housing giants. Many individuals, including those who sent in the pictures, believe we are dealing with a Bigfoot. Can you really blame them? After all, how many creatures can you name that are large enough to have feet of that size and weight, leaving such deep imprints in the soil? None, I presume. So if it's not a Bigfoot, what do you think could have made those tracks? A night vision camera in Peru captured this creature. It has an abnormally big head and a slender body. Seeing this brings Megamind to mind, but he's not real now, is he? This, on the other hand, is very real. Naturally, all who saw it thought it was an alien. Here's the million-dollar question. Is this genuine footage of an alien in Peru, or could there be another explanation for this mysterious glowing entity? Skeptics believe they have the answer. It's a hoax. While that sounds a bit harsh, especially to the believers of aliens, I can understand where they're coming from. What's your take on this otherworldly sighting, alien encounter, or is there a more down-to-earth explanation for this glowing enigma? Share your thoughts on this extraterrestrial or not-so-extraterrestrial mystery. So there's this lake in China that dried up, and guess what? It revealed these mysterious structures that nobody seems to have any record of in the history books. Now, the paranormal community is buzzing with theories about ancient stuff getting buried by nature's grand shuffling like the Great Floods. As researchers roll up their sleeves for more digging, they're hoping to discover what these structures truly are. But what are your theories? Please do share them. Now, this next footage isn't exactly a Trailcam capture. It's captured by a security cam in a Riverhill residence, and trust me, it's just as thrilling. In fact, have a look. Did you see it? On the left side of the clip, right as the clip kicks off, a brilliant blue streaks upward into the sky and swiftly vanishes towards the left. I don't know about you, but that looks like a spaceship going into hyperdrive. I was nearly convinced it was a hoax until I came across comments from others who claimed to have seen similar around the same time this was recorded. One user on the platform where this was shared said, "I drove my husband to work on Saturday at 4 a.m. and saw some lights like a train. At least that's how my husband referred to it. It was long and in a line, and it was moving in slow motion, falling and then suddenly disappearing. So I'm thinking it was activity from that Friday night." Could we really be having an alien situation on our hands? Tell us what you think in the comments section. Speaking of funny pictures, ever heard of bearded pigs? No? Well, get ready for a laugh. Yes, those are pigs with a beard, and no, it's not a costume. Bearded pigs, scientifically known as Sus barbatus, are a unique and interesting species of pig found in the southeast of Asia. Despite the name, they don't sport beards like humans do. Instead, they have long, wiry hair along their jaws, giving them a unique appearance. Have you come across these species of pig before? What do you think of them? Will you be traveling to Asia to see them? Tell us in the comments section. Check out this mind-boggling security footage from a restaurant kitchen. This guy is trying to warm a meal with a torch, but it doesn't light. Look at what he does next. How is he doing that? This man's lighting fire with his finger to heat the meal. He then shakes his hands after he is done and walks out with a plate of food. What just happened? Is he a mutant like the Human Torch, or is he just firebending? The logical ones think this is nothing more than a hoax, but is it though? I guess we'll never find out. This footage is allegedly from the International Space Station. It captures a peculiar object zipping across the sky. The object in question is shaped like the letter V. This is very different from the strange crafts mostly seen in the sky. Some might throw around the idea of it being a drone, but that thing is colossal. To put it in perspective, it's as big as a passenger plane. Have you seen drones that size? I'm not so sure. So what are we gazing at here? Could it be a genuine, unidentified flying object, or is there a more down-to-earth explanation for this V-shaped space oddity? A lady got in touch about some weird creatures from her garage. She stated they were birds, but she felt they might be mutated or something. Naturally, we're excited to see them. Confused at first, we were convinced they must be mutated creatures or perhaps even alien birds, given their oddly human-like size. Excited to publish the scoop, we delved into research, and what we discovered is truly surprising. These things are actually normal. Yes, my friends, they are normal. This is what baby barn owls actually look like. They're only weird because they haven't gotten their feathers yet. Who knew? The confusion about them being human-sized stems from the perspective of the capture. Thank God I found out. I'm pretty sure you would have roasted me alive for calling it alien. Thank God. Sorry to disappoint those policing my animal names et al. I had it right this time. And to those who learned something new, you're welcome. Now let's dive into an intriguing recording captured by a lady in a park. She was there to enjoy the scenery and unwind. Her relaxation was interrupted by an unsettling presence she couldn't identify. This led her to start recording, and the result is what you're about to witness on your screen. The footage shows a head emerging, its gaze fixed on her, only to swiftly retreat back into hiding. The figure, whatever it may be, appeared to engage in a game of peekaboo with a woman documenting the scene. The stalker possessed a pallid head devoid of any discernible hair, while a shadowy neck, possibly a dark scarf, enveloped the area. Deciphering the identity of this mysterious entity proves to be a challenge. Some suspect it might be a rake, whereas others think it's a skinwalker. Looking at it, I'm tempted to think it's a rake too, but I feel skepticism rise in my soul. I feel it's all fake and most probably a setup, but maybe that's just me. What do you think? Someone's on a late-night stroll, and if you have followed this channel long enough, you know he's definitely encountering something strange. This time, he encounters a creature that's part stick, part scorpion. I know it's unconventional, but it has the appearance of a stick bug, but with some extras. Tucked behind its wings is what looks like a scorpion sting. Turns out it's like a bug in stealth mode. In moments of perceived threat, these remarkable creatures transform their benign appearance into a spectacle of intimidation. The wings part to unveil what seems to be a scorpion sting, an elaborate ruse designed to startle and deter potential predators. Nature never ceases to amaze us with its ingenious adaptations. What are your thoughts on this stick bug's defense strategy? Next, we have a clip of two motorcyclists cruising down the road, one with a camera capturing the journey. The twist? The camera-wielding rider overtakes his friend and rides ahead, but when he stops to check on his buddy, there is no sign of him, just the lone motorcycle cruising behind. Where could the missing rider have gone? Did he take an unexpected detour, or is there a more extraterrestrial explanation like an alien abduction? There have been stories of people getting taken away in broad daylight by aliens for unknown reasons. Maybe this is just one of them. What do you think? Amidst the haunting remnants of the Chernobyl disaster area within the decaying walls of an abandoned structure emerges a truly unexpected sight. A word of caution, what you are about to witness is not for the faint-hearted. Within the confines of an abandoned shelter, amidst relics of a forgotten era, emerges an enormous pink entity emanating an eerie, vicious aura. As I witnessed this otherworldly spectacle unfolding, a whirlwind of possibilities surged through my mind, catalyzed by memories of strange wolf-like figures I've encountered before. But let's return to the current tale. What in the irradiated realm could this aberration be? A vision of pink hues intertwined with elongated appendages boasting an astonishing magnitude. Could it be a denizen of the irradiated depths? Is it a colossal squid, or maybe a mutation, twisted, sense-deprived octopus? I might be jumping ahead. Remember, this is Chernobyl, and none of these creatures are indigenous to the region. Could it be a mutated earthworm, perhaps? All this speculation has left me quite dizzy. What do you think it is? I'd like to hear your thoughts, because frankly, I can't make out anything, unless, of course, the footage is fake. Now prepare for today's dose of cuteness overload, and it's no exaggeration when I say that. I mean, just take a look. Yes, that's an actual puppy getting on the back of a goose and then hugging it. While this is what you might call the unlikeliest of companionships and hugs, it doesn't change the fact that it's an adorable and lovely one. Have you come across any pups or animals having unusual friendships and unions? Please share in the comments section because we'd love to see it. In Miami, people have been spotting these strange objects in the sky, and our next clip captures one of those situations. It looks like some sort of tank. I'm not very sure of what it is. Some say they might be surveillance balloons, perhaps part of a monitoring or security initiative, but others think it's alien-related. After some personal research, I'm convinced it's nothing more than a blimp. Julius adds that this particular one could have been designed by Goodyear. Is anyone from Miami out there to confirm this for us? Dive into the realm of the uncanny with this peculiar moment caught on camera. A man was sitting on a motorbike with his back turned to the camera when all of a sudden you see him getting off the bike to sit properly on it. But wasn't he already sitting on the bike? A closer look and you'd realize there was something strange about the way he was sitting. So how did he ride the bike if he was seated like that? Well, no one knows, and it's left many to speculate. Some even think the whole thing is nothing but a glitch in the Matrix. You've seen it, right? What's your take on this surreal scene? Now, I know I've shown you a lot of alien stuff in today's footage already, but none compares to what I'm about to show you, so brace yourselves. The footage begins with a typical security cam overlooking a pool, but it takes a sudden turn. The woman appears to levitate and either disintegrate or perhaps teleport to another place. Just before the woman disappears, however, you see them look around as though something ominous has happened. We don't see it, but a few seconds later, the woman disappears. Scary, huh? That someone could just disappear like that. But is it real, though? A part of me wants to believe it is, yet the logical part of me wants to find reasons for why it's not. What do you think, though? A final enigma before you go? Tell me what you feel we're dealing with here, because I really want to know. Next, we have funny footage that will make you smile. Just take a look. Yep, those are bears sitting comfortably in a pool. This may not be a trail camera footage, but boy, does it have the thrill. Given how chill the one filming is, I'm sure it's a regular thing there. Looks cute, doesn't it? How would you react if the local bears visited your pool on a daily basis? Tell us in the comments section. I know what you're thinking. They are aliens, right? And I wouldn't blame you for thinking that. I mean, look at them go. I doubt we have any aircraft in any known military force that moves like that. So are these really aliens? Well, there are some in our paranormal community that believe we may be looking at drones, but come on. These have to be crafts moving at high speeds, and given the way our human crafts are constructed and the way they move, I believe this is either something experimental or extraterrestrial. But let me know what you think. Aliens, military, drones, or something much more. Stepping away from the spooky clips, check out this heartwarming scene. Here we have a guy playing a game with his dog, and you won't believe what unfolds. The clever pup manages to choose the right bricks and takes home the win. It's a testament to how smart animals can be when they're given the right training. You can just imagine the effort this guy put into teaching his furry friend the ropes. It goes to show that even without sharing our language, the bond and understanding between humans and animals can create some truly adorable moments. Kudos to this dynamic duo. This next capture was posted on a paranormal platform we're on by one user. According to him, his brother captured the photo while on a graveyard shift. And yes, it was an evening shift. Take a look. What do you think that is? Looks like a man, right? But how do you explain the white overall? What if I told you that this was captured from a location not too far from you in the US? What if I told you this was captured in Midland, Texas? Now, I know what you may be thinking. This might be a hoax. I would have thought so too if the individual was trying to shove it down everyone's throat as being authentic. Instead, he was merely asking for help identifying it since his brother used the location. So I look to you. What do you think we're dealing with here? Tell me in the comments section. While relatively blurry compared to our other footage, this particular clip captures something truly spectacular. In the clip, we see a creature moving towards land in the river. The waves behind the creature shows that it's a large creature and has some serious power to be moving at such speed with such large waves behind it. Upon emerging from the river, a transformation occurs and the creature takes on a human form. A form it didn't possess initially. But how is this transformation possible? So there's just one possible explanation. It's a shapeshifter. But are these beings real? That's hard to assert with absolute certainty. However, considering all that we've encountered on this channel, doubting it might not be a stretch. What do you think, though? Is that a possibility we should accept, or is this simply a cleverly devised hoax? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section, as we'd really love to hear it.
Porque María vivió eso una vez menos, ¿eh? Eso se lleva todo.
Y ya le una bronca, y yo ya le Marisa, se me perdieron porque estaban por fuera y no las encontraba.
Some women were filming a tornado from a distance, and as you watch, you notice something unusual. The clouds have dipped down to touch the earth in the tornado's dance. Now, this is where things get a bit mysterious. There is a glow within the cloud tunnels. It's not your typical tornado viewing experience. Sure, we're accustomed to the ferocious winds and swirling clouds, but a mysterious glow within the funnel adds an unexpected layer to the spectacle. What could be the source of this mysterious glow within the tornado's embrace? Is it a play of light, a reflection, or something more enigmatic? I'll let you decide on this one.
Pepe me llamó.
While sitting on the balcony at night, looking at the neighborhood outside, a woman noticed something strange. Now, it's a bit tricky to pin down exactly what this entity looks like because it's a blur as it zooms by. But here's where it gets wild. When it takes flight, you catch a glimpse of its shadow on the ground. It looks like a really large being with bird-like wings. What creature could that be? Is it a ghost, a manifestation from another realm lingering in the night sky? On the other hand, the description of a large being with bird-like wings brings to mind thoughts of the Mothman, a legendary and cryptic figure often linked to sightings of impending disaster. Could the weird creature in the capture be the Mothman? Aaron doubts it, but what do you think? Think that was peculiar and scary, then I wonder what you make of this next capture. For some, it would look like a thing of nightmares. This creature was captured on a Trailcam one night. The Trailcam capture begins with a serene view of the woods. However, the tranquility of the woods is abruptly shattered as this creature enters the camera frame. At first glance, you might think it's a man, but you soon realize it's a weird humanoid creature with fur all over it. While it's difficult to ascertain if the blurriness affects its appearance, the creature seems to possess an ethereal, ghostly white fur. This creature looks fixated on something and simply walks right across the camera frame and then out of frame. We're limited by the fact that we're dealing with images, but you don't have to be an expert to know that this thing is a cryptid. What it is, though, remains a mystery for us. It's hard to call it a Bigfoot because of its ghostly or white-looking fur. Could it be a Yeti? No, that's not possible. The pictures don't appear to originate from a snowy or rocky region. There are no other cryptids that we can think of that fit the bill. Can you help, or do you think this is simply a man in a costume? Let us know in the comments section. Next, we have something a bit more familiar, yet still extraordinary. Would you look at that? This dark-haired cryptid looks like a hybrid of a monkey and a bear. I wonder how that happened. But if you are a subscriber to this channel, you'll know that this is nothing new. Though we're used to such strange sightings and creatures, there's always a chill that runs through my spine when I see these creatures. Dealing with a bear or a fully grown ape is no easy feat. It can't be any easier when the creature is seemingly a hybrid of the two. The creature possesses a large muscular body similar to that of a bear, but it also displays a slight hunch reminiscent of a gorilla. It seems to be capable of walking on its 2 feet like a human, but you and I know that's no human or a gorilla or bear. Then what is it? The Dogman, Bigfoot, or an entirely new cryptid? Share your thoughts in the comments section. For our next video, we visit Jahalis, Canada. Take a look at these tracks. What do you think made them? You don't need to be a genius to know this was done by something big and possibly dangerous. Whatever it was, it had to have big feet. We all know what the culprit should be, the one and only Bigfoot. Now let's delve into the story behind these intriguing tracks. It all began when a family stumbled upon them during one of their outings. At first, they believed it to be a one-time occurrence. However, as time went on and they continued spotting these tracks in different seasons, it became increasingly clear that the creature resided in close proximity. This was all hypothetical until someone in the family actually saw the creature in its full glory. It was no ape or a bear or any other large mammal you can think of. It was actually Bigfoot. Interestingly, even after discovering that Bigfoot resides nearby, the family has chosen to remain in their home. In fact, one brave member even throws stones at the creature whenever they cross paths, boldly stating that they're not afraid. What would you have done if it were you and your family? Would you have stayed or would you have moved? Tell us in the comments section. Humans can just not stay in their lanes, always probing into things that have little to do with them. We see two of such in this footage. The footage was captured by two adventurous individuals who, for some unknown reason, decided to venture into the depths of an abandoned mine shaft in the woods. They, however, looked like they got more than they bargained for. Just take a look at what they captured once they were in the abandoned mine shaft. In the darkness, you can see a human-like creature on two legs with glowing eyes standing before them. The creature looks like a skinwalker. It's skinny and at least 6 feet tall. They might have gone in seeking an adventure, but the sight of that thing was enough to kill the thrill-seeking spirit of theirs. But what do you think that creature in the dark is? Next, we have something that's not so sinister, yet more common in the woods than we would love to admit. Curious? Take a look at this clip. Yes, that's a deer with only 3 legs, and before you start feeling bad for it, this deer is totally fine and actually thriving. There are, however, some situations where a deer can lose a leg. Unfortunately, in such cases, the chances of survival for the deer are significantly diminished due to risks of infection, blood loss, and other complications. If a deer survives such an encounter and heals up successfully, it can adjust and move freely like any other deer. While they may not be as swift, these resilient deer develop heightened ears and senses compensating for the lost limb. So don't worry, Bambi is living his best life. When you hear ghosts, you think of hauntings, murder, and death. But tell me why none of these ring a bell when I look at this footage. An apparition was caught on camera crouched by a bin, and moments later it vanished. The figure looked ghostly and had what looked like arms waving before vanishing into thin air. Now, why would a ghost be haunting a bin, and why would it be waving its hands? Is it trapped in some kind of a plane and is trying to escape to our world? Or is there something more sinister happening here? Is the footage even real at all? Tell us in the comments section. This footage is a reminder to lock your doors at night before bed and, above all, mind your business. The footage was captured by a family who heard weird noises outside their house but made a smart choice to investigate through their window instead of going out to see for themselves. As you can see from the footage, everything looked normal as they had imagined all they had heard, but out of nowhere, a pale creature emerges from the dark and crawls very fast toward the window. Thankfully, they were able to shut the window in time and the creature disappeared as quickly as it came. But let's take a second look in slow motion. The creature clearly has human-like features, but it crawls instead of walks, and its arms are very skinny and a tad sickly. Everything about it is reminiscent of a rake. If you think otherwise, do not hesitate to mention it in the comments section. Still on cryptids, have a look at this security cam footage. Did you see the creature? That was an ape-like being trying so hard to cross the street undetected in the dead of the night. While it managed to evade human eyes, it couldn't escape the vigilant gaze of the security camera. You don't need to be told after seeing it the first time to know it's Bigfoot. But here's the thing. Unlike most Bigfoot clips we've seen, this creature moves incredibly fast for its size. It's fascinating the way it moves. It's like it's completely in its element. Sure, it has an ape-like body, but its movements are so eerily human. One question remains. Where was it headed? Honestly, who knows where it was headed? One thing's for certain, I wouldn't want to encounter it at night, especially if it's prowling around for food. And my guess, that's probably what brought it to town. After all, what else will a Bigfoot be doing in town at night? Or is this a hoax? Share your thoughts. I think the crab came out of the waters to find a dull bride. As you can see, our friend Sebastian here has managed to get himself stuck in a Barbie doll head. Imagine this poor creature venturing out of the ocean for some fresh air, only to stumble upon a rubber bride in the form of a Barbie doll. Similar to fish, crabs rely on their gills to breathe underwater. However, unlike fish, crabs can survive on land for approximately 24 hours, but only if their gills remain moist. It's funny to think that a crab will decide to use its 24 hours to find itself a Barbie doll. It must really be lonely under the sea, huh, Sebastian? The weird and, quite frankly, scary one. Don't believe me? Have a look. Did you see that? Yup, that's definitely a deer with two noses. A property owner in Lancaster County spotted this double-nosed deer in the woods. The funny thing is, he was not even trying to find something odd. He was simply reviewing the beautiful wildlife footage his Trailcam recorded. It was during this process that he noticed something rather odd. At first, he couldn't believe it and had to watch the video once again to be sure. He found himself rewatching the video multiple times, and who can blame him? After all, encounters like this are incredibly rare. The deformed deer had two noses, with one on top of the other. It may resemble a creature from a horror movie, but surprisingly, it's not. This unique condition can occur due to hormonal imbalances during pregnancy. That doesn't change the fact that it's freaky looking, though. Have you come across creatures like this? Let us know in the comments section. A jewelry maker had a customer return a ring and ask for some changes because it didn't fit. Now, when the ring was returned, it came along with this strange-looking container. He doesn't know what this thing is, and that's not even the problem here. Take a look at this. When he opens the container, the camera becomes all grainy, but when he closes it, it goes back to normal. What does that mean? Some viewers say that there could be some sort of radiation emanating from the container. What do you guys think? If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these videos for you. Thank you so much. Now, back to today's episode. Our next clip takes us along the borders of Kazakhstan, where a group of individuals stumbled upon a cave that has since been causing quite a stir. Take a look. Do you hear the strange noise coming from the cave? It sounds like a roar, yet it has this electronic mod to it. Take a listen. Did you hear that? Now, name an animal that sounds like that. I bet you can't. Now, what makes this even spookier is the fact that the cave's entrance is sealed tight with massive rocks. Whatever is in there was definitely intentionally kept there. The question is, why? Some think it might be a monster, while others think it might be some secret doomsday weapon. Then there's Julius, our know-it-all, who thinks this is nothing more than a hoax. Personally, I agree with him. But what do you think? Next, we take a trip to an area near Hudson Bay in July 2011. The footage was taken by a man who was being disturbed by strange and unexplained noises. Instead of running, however, he decided to investigate, but with his camera rolling. What he discovered left him terrified. As he was investigating the noise, he stumbled upon a creature in the darkness. It was a ghastly creature, pale in appearance, its eyes ominously glowing, lurking on the ground. Though the footage is a bit shaky, you can still make out what looks like a pair of human-like arms. Not long after this discovery, the video ended. That creature looked nothing like a human. It had no ears or any visual indication of a nose. The white skin and glowing eyes of the creature are reminiscent of a rake. For those unfamiliar with them, rakes are paranormal creatures that are known to stalk people. Approach them and they won't hesitate to attack. Although they are humanoid, they also appear to be crouching and are extremely pale. What do you think? Was the creature the man found a rake? Or is it all fake? Tell us in the comments section. Now, onto something really scary and eerie. Since starting this channel, we've reviewed a lot of weird footage, some of which we can't even share, but believe me when I say, none of them has made our stomachs turn like what you are about to watch. The video starts with a weirdly dressed man ushering a young lady who seems to be in her nightwear into the woods. The lady, seemingly entranced, obediently follows the man's instructions without any sign of resistance. When you watch the video for the first time, you don't notice it, but there's another weird-looking man in the bushes also signaling the two, or rather the lady, to come into the bush. They enter the bushes and the clip ends. According to the owner of the Trailcam that captured this chilling scene, neither the strange duo nor the young lady returned from the bush. And here's the kicker. The owner has no clue who the lady even is. The scary thing about this footage is that it was recorded as recently as April 2023. The paranormal community believes those were either skinwalkers or ritualists. Although we can't say for sure, none of these groups is good news for the lady. For the first time, I'm actually hoping this is a hoax, because if it's not, we've just witnessed creatures of the night kidnap a young girl. Who knows what they have done and are possibly doing to her even at this moment. Check out this incredible scene at the Sarangani Province Island Beach Resort in Masim, Philippines. A crowd is gathered at the shore. But why? Well, the fishes in the sea were swimming out onto the shore. As you can see, people are loading up large baskets of fish right there. This is very puzzling. Fishes are creatures of the sea, right? Seeing them voluntarily swim ashore is like a fishy version of a red carpet event. It's usually not their style, considering it often means, well, not great things for them. So the big question is, what could have spooked these fishes out of their comfort zone into the land and hands of humans? Still on strange finds, take a look at this one.
That's what I thought it was the first time that I saw this the other day. I mean, it's out literally in the middle of nowhere, under this big oak.
A man found a hole under an oak tree in the middle of nowhere. Curious, he decides to peek in using his camera, and once he does, he discovers a flight of stairs leading further into it. So what does our brave explorer do? He descends into the unknown, and what he finds is downright perplexing. The stairs lead him into a tunnel, surprisingly lit with lights on the walls. You'd think this would be the sign to be cautious and return, but no, deeper and deeper he goes. And the odd thing is, it's just stairs, stairs, and more stairs. The temperature drops as he ventures further until he reaches a colossal ancient-looking door, which is where our clip ends. What could he have discovered? Could it be some sort of facility or something more? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. This footage was taken by a ghost hunter who went searching on a strange field in the middle of the woods. In the field, he found graves and other weird objects hanging on tree branches, including necklaces made of human teeth. If that doesn't scream cursed, I don't know what would. However, the man doesn't leave. He continues searching the land until he discovers a woman crouched on the ground wearing a black cloak. The puzzled man yells at her. This alarms the woman and sends her bolting out of there. He attempts to run after the woman, but he trips and falls, allowing her to narrowly escape. It appears that the woman was involved in something suspicious. Why else would she flee in such a manner? Is she perhaps a witch casting a spell or something? Share your thoughts. Have you ever heard of the term Nephilim? How would you respond if I told you that they might actually exist and one man spent most of his life trying to prove this? Well, watch the footage. L.A. Mazzulli, the firm believer in the existence of the Nephilim, conducted an interview with a man claiming to have witnessed a creature emerging from a portal. As he was strolling through a park, the hiker noticed peculiar activity ahead, prompting him to grab his camera. A transparent bubble begins to form on the path. Upon closer inspection of the path, one can discern a round object in its trajectory. But that is not even the main issue. Right in the core of the invincible bubble, a hazy creature begins to form. This creature ranks up high on the list of things that would not be believed if they were not filmed. But as always, the experts had to make sure they were dealing with authentic footage. They conducted several tests, and guess what they uncovered? A long-headed creature, or should I say the Nephilim, crawling out of a portal. It's no news that humans are not alone, but sometimes these anomalies are just mind-boggling. It looked like the creature was changing and was now materializing in our plane or from whatever place it was coming from. Could that mean that these Nephilims are real like L.A. Mazzulli suspects? What do you think, though? Should we be worried, or is this an elaborate hoax? Next, we have eerie footage that was taken while some kids were playing outside. As the kids innocently played and enjoyed themselves, a creature started to emerge from the background heading toward them. They seemed unaware of the creature until it was only a few meters from them. It was at this point that one of the kids noticed and called out to the rest. Without wasting much time, they all rushed out of the place and made it out safely. But let's take a second look at the footage when the creature appears. Did you see it? Although the trees have blocked the full view of the creature, you can make out a humanoid creature walking on 2 feet. It moves slowly, as though it were a zombie. Its face, although not very visible, is not so human. It's hard to say what kind of creature it is just from the details, but many who have seen the video believe it's a hoax and nothing more than a father playing pranks on his kids. What do you think? Next, we have this Trailcam capture, which we've had a hard time interpreting. If you take a closer look at the image, you see a creature that looks like a deer, either staring at or looking in the direction of the Trailcam. Instead of a head and face to match, this deer appears to have something that looks like a lamp on its head. This makes it hard to tell what's going on with its head and face. But what if it's not having a lamp on its head? What if that's how its head and face are? What if it glows because it's no ordinary deer, but a spiritual one? Before you laugh and dismiss it, think about it. How would you explain this capture? Experts who have reviewed the image believe it's authentic. If that's truly the case, how do you explain a deer with a glowing face? You can't, can you? Next, we have footage that involves an unknown or identified tall being who, for some odd reason, seems to be in a hurry. The creature at first glance looks like an ape, but all who took a critical look at it speculated it was a Sasquatch. Some even stated it might be a Yeti, but the creature's brown fur and approximate height of 7 feet align more closely with the characteristics of Bigfoot, possibly a juvenile. The creature, though heavy, still moves swiftly among the trees with ease. Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and Yeti are all cryptids with slight variations. All are huge ape-like creatures. Bigfoot and Sasquatch are known for their dark fur, typically black or brown, while Yetis are described with white or light brown fur. Yetis are found in the snowy Himalayan mountains. All these enigmatic creatures reside in the mountainous woodlands away from humans. Given this description, it's reasonable to assume that the creature we're seeing is a Bigfoot, but that still leaves us with numerous unanswered questions. Why is he running? Who or what was after him? Well, if you take a closer look at the footage, you realize the camera is following the cryptid, which means someone was filming. It was most likely trying to get away from humans. That's our assertion, though. What do you think? Either this scene is just a weird party or something far more sinister. A peculiar group of individuals dressed in suits was caught on camera. They might just be a bunch of weirdos playing dress-up, but in the middle of the night, though, coming from the woods. Adding to the peculiarity, these suited individuals carry umbrellas and suitcases adorned with hats while behaving in a highly hysterical manner. Their jumps and erratic street running eerily mirror the iconic movements of Charlie Chaplin. Is this a Charlie Chaplin cult, or is there something more sinister happening here? After all, you can even see one person in a sinister-looking mask who appears to be their leader. But wait, it gets even more eerie. On the right side of the road where these individuals emerge from the forest, a red fire reminiscent of a bonfire illuminates the bushes. The whole scene here is bizarre, and it's hard to make sense of it. Is this some kind of costume party or a cult? Tell us what you think. Next, we have this Trailcam capture of what looks like a wolf-dog creature with the body of an ape and the gait of a bipedal creature such as a human. If you're a subscriber and a follower of this channel, then you know we've come across creatures that look like this in the past. The ones we've seen, however, look much more like either a dog or a wolf, but this particular one looks like it has a bear's face. Although each is slightly different, they all have the face of a canine, which fits the description of the Dogman creature. If you're hearing of the Dogman for the first time, it's a humanoid creature with the body of a human and the head of a canine, which may be that of a wolf or a dog. It's also stated to be tall and muscular with sharp teeth and claws. You don't need to be an expert on the subject to know we're looking at the embodiment of the creature on your screens. One question remains, though. Is this really the Dogman, or is it fake? Tell us what you think. Next, we have this very confusing image we just can't seem to make sense of. Can you help? In the footage, we see what looks like a panther with white tusks and a translucent-looking figure by it. At first glance, it might appear as if we're looking at the panther with white tusks resembling those of an extinct saber-toothed tiger. However, upon closer examination, some might argue it could be the backside of the panther. But which is it? Could this be an otherworldly creature, or is it simply a poor image by the Trailcam due to lighting and environmental conditions? Share your thoughts with us. This next footage was taken by a biker who was riding through the forest, but what seemed like a fun day turned into a terrifying one when he encountered a creature we're still yet to identify during his ride. Watch the clip. The footage captures the biker riding along a path in the woods until he reaches a narrow trail with walls on both sides. As he was using the path, a pale creature leapt from the trees into the path as though it were trying to attack the rider. Startled, the biker looks back to catch a glimpse of the creature, but it disappears into the forest. Let's take another look. The creature looks like a monkey with its tail, except that it was hairless and the flesh looked pale. We can't see its face because it has its back facing the camera. It's creepy by all standards. It all happens so fast that it's difficult to accurately describe what was happening. I don't think this rider would be taking this route ever again after this scare. But what creature was that? Why did it suddenly appear on the path? Could it be an otherworldly creature? It's hard to answer these questions, but what do you think? It's funny to think that scarecrows are still a thing in this modern world, but if it isn't broken, well, don't fix it, right? After all, it's the only cost-effective way farmers can keep pests away from their crops. While it may not be foolproof, it manages to get the job done in some way or another. Over the years, farmers have gotten creative with their scarecrow game, taking it up a notch. Scarecrows are already creepy standing stiff in the middle of a farm. Imagine adding movements to it. Super creepy, right? Well, these drone navigators fell into this scarecrow trap. As they flew their drone over a farm, they suddenly spotted a scarecrow. Moments later, to their surprise, the eerie straw man came to life, moving about the farm and menacingly waving a rake toward the camera. This left them spooked for a minute, believing the scarecrow was possessed, but it turned out to be nothing more than some guy in a costume. What you are looking at is a cast made from what is suspected to be the footprint of a Bigfoot. Somewhere in Colombia, a man went fishing when he felt an eerie sensation as though he was being watched by something dangerous. He turned around just in time to catch sight of a massive creature staring at him from a distance. When the stalker noticed it had been spotted, it quickly dashed into the woods. The fisherman chased it after, but soon lost sight of it. He returned to the spot where the creature had been standing, only to see huge footprints that were left in the sand by whatever it was that he'd chased. 1 foot of the prints was about 12 inches long and 5 inches wide. It was definitely much bigger than that of any human he knew. There was only one creature that could have left a print as large and abominable as what you see. Footage from Ontario, Canada. In the clip, we see some boaters filming their time out on the lake when a creature moves in between the trees in the land ahead of them. The creature moves quickly as though it didn't want to be seen. Creatures in the wild are always shy, so this would not be odd, but we see the boaters head toward the land as they wanted to see the creature up close. But why? Watch this zoomed-in version of the footage and you can understand why. Did you see it? That's an ape-like creature, and there are no apes in Ontario. If you take a closer look at the footage, it gets even more suspicious. Although the creature looks like an ape, it has human-like gait. Do you know any other creatures that look like apes with human-like features and traits? Yes, you guessed right. Bigfoot. There's a Bigfoot in Ontario, and this is just one of many bits of evidence. There's one question we've been asking, though. Is there just one Bigfoot in these woods, or is there an entire community simply hiding from us? Share your thoughts. Would you believe us when we tell you that the ball of fire you see on your screen is actually no fire at all? Would you believe us when we tell you that sources say that it was a witch trying to escape the grasp of its captors? These days, it's hard to differentiate between myths and reality. Stories that used to be mythical can now be seen playing out in real life. In the past, aliens, slender men, and skinwalkers were all considered mythical stories. However, nowadays we have hundreds of bits of video evidence that seemingly prove their existence. I mean, take a look at this footage. Upon investigation, it was revealed that a woman engaged in activities that displeased her neighbors. In response, the community confronted her, but to their astonishment, she became engulfed in flames and descended into the sky. I don't know how true this is, but with how messed up reality is now, it might as well be true. Or what do you think? Next, we have this weird-looking girl that was captured on a trail cam. Although she's dressed in typical human attire, her features are anything but ordinary. Since the image was captured from a distance, discerning her facial features is challenging. However, what can be observed appears human except for her ears. Her ears look like that of a wolf sticking out from the top of her head like a character from Sweet Tooth. While the rest of her body appears human, a closer examination of her legs and feet reveals what appears to be furry legs rather than clothing. I don't know if this can be considered a mystical or alien creature. Part of me wants to believe she's simply a little girl in a wolf's costume, but there's an unsettling aura emanating from the image that challenges that notion. It's almost as though this isn't an attempted cosplay and we're actually looking at a young girl with wolf-like characteristics. I don't know of any mythical creature that fits the bill. Could scientists be cooking up something in their labs? Could this girl have escaped and gotten caught on a trail cam? Tell us what you think. This trail cam was set to capture an unknown creature that was rumored to be living in the woods. Some stated that it was the legendary Gray Man, which is considered by some to be a benevolent spirit that warns humans of impending danger. As no one had seen it, no one knew what to expect until this trail camera recorded a creature in this footage which many thought was the Gray Man. As you can see from the footage, there's a cute creature standing amidst the woods, seemingly awestruck. It stands for a while and then quickly retreats into the woods. Do you think this is truly the Gray Man, or could it be a small monkey or some other small critter that had been mistaken for it? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Do you believe in ghosts? If your answer is no, then this footage might just shock the unbeliever out of you. Don't believe me? Have a look. Did you see it? Did you see the transparent being walk in and out of frame as though he had no care in the world? There's no denying that it's a ghost, but how? Even the people who recorded this footage are baffled and can't make sense of it. They ignored it until they went into the woods with another man who began experiencing an eerie presence he couldn't make sense of. He turned to the next person and tried to describe what he was feeling and was told to say no more. The man showed in the video his friend had recorded some weeks prior, and it confirmed everything. The video is what you just watched. The woods they were in was not normal. There was something or some things out there, and they were definitely not from our plane of reality. In simple terms, the place was haunted. The men knew this, and they still came back because they had to hunt. But do tell me, would you go back into a forest if you knew it was haunted, even if your livelihood depended on it? Tell us. We'd love to know your perspective. Next, we have a capture that's unlike any we have ever captured of a cryptid. In this remarkable footage, we witness a cryptid strolling leisurely across a vast field. The creature is at least 10 feet tall and wears a black fur. Despite its ape-like physique, this enigmatic creature moves with an uncanny human-like gait. Do we know any creatures that fit this description? Yes, Bigfoot. Here's a question for you. Have you ever witnessed a Bigfoot moving so confidently in any of our Trailcam captures? If you answered no, you're not wrong, but I can't help but wonder, where is it going? Bigfoots always seem to be on a mission, but where exactly are they headed? Is it toward their place of abode, or are they merely exploring their surroundings? Whatever the reason, the one in this capture seems to be the most confident, and we don't know how to feel about it. Great capture by all standards, though. One of, if not, the scariest of today's compilation. Think I'm exaggerating? Well, take a look at this capture. Do you see it? Do you see how scary and eerie looking it is? What in the world is it? A werewolf? A chupacabra? Or something entirely different? Whatever it is, it couldn't be safe to be around. If the red eyes are not a giveaway, the rest of its body should send the message loud and clear. One thing bothers me, though. The sheep don't seem to be perturbed by the presence of the creature. This makes me feel like it could be an edited photo or a man in a costume. But what do you think? We'd love to know. We have something else that we have a hard time explaining. Wondering what I'm talking about? Have a look. Did you see that? Did you see the third deer appear out of thin air as characters spawn in a video game? If you did, you aren't seeing things, it really did happen. The question is, how? Well, no one knows. Now, here's where things get interesting. The paranormal community suggests it might be an animal spirit or something of the sort. Sounds intriguing, right? But here's the problem. Why would the spirit choose that particular time of the day and reveal itself to multiple people? It just doesn't quite add up. Something that the driver might have offended the spirits, but we can't say for sure. Others, including myself, thought it was just a glitch in the Matrix. In case you are not familiar with the terminology, it's the belief that you and I are just in a computer simulation like the Matrix movies. This simulation from time to time breaks, which creates the kind of situation we're seeing with the deer. There are also some who think it's merely an optical illusion due to the perspective, and as logical as that sounds, it's hard to believe in this case. Some also subscribe to the idea that the footage is edited and it's a hoax. But you saw the footage too. What do you think? For our next footage, we visit Canada, specifically Saskatchewan. Sounds like a place to find a Sasquatch, doesn't it? Turns out you can actually find one there. While patrolling the reserve, a security officer caught sight of this large, dog-furred creature approximately 10 feet tall walking across the field. Thinking it was a bear, he looked at the animal moving only to realize that the creature was effortlessly moving on two legs and lazily swinging its arms. He soon realized that he was dealing with no bear, it was something much more. Considering the history of Sasquatch sightings in the area, he quickly realized he was witnessing one himself. Determined to capture the moment, he reached for his camera, but unfortunately by then the creature was almost out of sight. What do you think, though? Is that really a Sasquatch, or is it something else? Are those black coyotes? Is there something demonic going on here? Or could they be shapeshifters? After all, when you think of coyotes, you think of a light-furred creature, but take a look at these black-furred coyotes. If you know anything about human culture and its association with the color black, you know that some cultures will definitely see these creatures as a symbol of evil and bad luck, just like they do with black cats. But believe us when we tell you that these creatures are not actually cursed or anything. They're not even scientifically made or a different species of coyote. They're just regular coyotes, but this time they come in black. These are pretty rare and hard to come by. Their dark fur gives them this mysterious look and vibe. Coyotes are nocturnal creatures, meaning they thrive at nighttime. They're in close relation to a wolf, but slightly smaller and were known as brush wolves, prairie wolves, and American jackals. They feed on any prey and occasionally munch on fruit when there's no meat available. All coyotes do this whether they're black or the usual color. I don't know who set the rule that black animals are evil. Looking at these magnificent creatures, I believe the person had it wrong. Very wrong. But what do you think? This is why you don't mess with abandoned buildings. This photographer visited an abandoned house. Ash was going around the house. This weird, pale-faced lady appeared at the window mumbling words to him. If that was me, I would have bolted long ago, but this adventurer stood filming the weird lady. Moments later, the strange woman snaps and starts yelling and banging at the window. Based on the cameraman's reaction, I suspect that this entire incident might be staged. I mean, who in their right mind could endure such a creepy situation? Definitely not me. Secondly, if you closely examine the creature's skin, it appears as if someone is wearing a rubber costume. You can even see the face through the eyes of the mask, but what do you think? We have this mystery that even we can't seem to wrap our heads around. Take a look at it. Did you see it? Did you see the fish with a human-like face? Upon closer inspection, you'll notice distinct eyes, a nose, and surprisingly pouty lips. I don't even have words for it. Is this some kind of a science experiment gone wrong or a new species of fish? We leave that up to your imagination. Have you ever had anyone photobomb your picture? If your answer is yes, believe me when I tell you your pictures have never been photobombed like the next image I'm about to show you. This unsuspecting couple took a cute selfie together during a morning hike and found it to be a lovely picture. You know, the kind you take when you're head over heels. Imagine their surprise when they took a second look at the picture when they got home, only to find an unexpected photobomber. To their astonishment, they discovered a creature positioned right between the trees in the background, seemingly posing for the camera. The creature appeared hairy with brown fur. There were no apes in the area, which left only one possibility: a cryptid. But which kind? Your guess is as good as mine. A Bigfoot? But is it real, though? Share your thoughts in the comments section. This hazy image was captured on a Trailcam. There appears to be a moving being in the forest. Could it be a human? According to the uploader, who also happens to be the owner of the footage, the camera was placed in a remote area where the presence of humans is highly unlikely. The only reason there would be a human in the footage is as if he was a poacher. That sounds plausible until you start taking the height of whatever this hazy creature is into consideration. Then you realize that there's no way that it could be human. The height of the creature was calculated by considering the objects in the image, including the nearby trees. Guess the height of the creature after the calculations. It stood about 8 feet tall, so it's not your average human size. There are speculations that this could be a Bigfoot, and the height is the dead giveaway. I mean, if it's not a Bigfoot, then what other cryptid could it be roaming the woods in the dead of night? Next, we have a Trailcam capture that has left me turning in bed for days. Take a look at the image. The usual me would have screamed Bigfoot, but there's something about this creature that makes me feel it's a creature much darker and sinister than a Bigfoot would be. Just look at the body. It's clearly taller than 9 or 10 feet, judging by its height in comparison to the surrounding trees. Aside from that, it's more upright than any of the Bigfoot we've ever reviewed on this channel, and it wears a frown. Never before have we seen a Bigfoot with such a frown or sinister expression. Is this really a Bigfoot, or is there another cryptid with similar characteristics that's even more dangerous and sinister? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Next, we have this Trailcam capture from the wild. You don't need to be an animal expert to know that there is a lot wrong with this wild animal. Its eyes look weird, which I doubt the camera and lighting have anything to do with, and one of its horns is pointing the wrong way. Now, here's where things get interesting. Many viewers who saw this capture have put forward theories. Some suggest it could be a mutated deer or the result of a government project gone wrong. But in my opinion, the deer seems to be simply sick and in need of help. What do you think? Trail cams are mostly set to capture wildlife, the beautiful interaction between animals in the forests and grassland. But this trail cam caught something quite unexpected. If you look at this image, it looks like a regular bush. However, take a look at these 3 shining dots on the left side. What could that be? 3 eyes? Trail cams typically capture the reflections of animals' eyes, resulting in the unusual sight of 2 pairs of glowing eyes in the dark. This particular image, however, displays 3 shining dots. What animal known to us roams the forest having a set of 3 eyes? The answer is simple: none. Could this be a paranormal creature or just a deformed coyote? I'll prefer the former because a creature with 3 eyes does not seem like something to be safe around. What do you think, though? During an anim convention, someone noticed a quite peculiar stand. Yup, that's the FBI. You might be wondering why on earth the FBI set up shop at an anim event, right? Well, here's a wild thought. Maybe they figure a lot of brain power and talent are packed into those anim-loving brains. Smart people can be into anim too, right? It's like blending 2 worlds you never thought would collide, anim lovers and the FBI. Who knows, maybe they're on a quest to recruit the next generation of super sleuths with a love for all things animated. What's your take on this unexpected crossover? What do angels look like? There are various depictions of what these creatures could be. Some say there are light beings, others call them interdimensional, some heavenly, and so many more. Someone looking into the sky using a telescope spotted these in the sky. Strange lights, an entity moving across the sky, and there was this particular one that was a luminous thing that was rotating and changing shape as if floating away. People had a lot to say about this. Some thought it was an angel or some heavenly being, but others called it an atmospheric biological being. First time I've heard of this, and another called it a plasma being. Some also thought it was just debris and that we were seeing things that were not there. Aaron, my in-house intern on all things paranormal, thinks there's something there, but Julius, the scientific intern amongst us, thinks this is nothing more than a sham to mislead believers in the paranormal. What's your take? Still on the wonders of Mother Nature, take a look at this next one. Wondering why this lake is a big deal? Well, maybe because it's not a lake. This is supposed to be the desert of Oman, but somehow it's flooded. I didn't believe the clip when I saw it, so I did some research, and it turns out it's actually true. How does a place go from looking like a desert to looking like this? A team member shared some theories stating that the current pole shifting could be responsible. Another mentioned cloud seeding. In fact, one stated that Oman has a magical pop-up rainforest. For 3 months each year, a very special weather phenomenon happens in Oman that transforms the usually arid desert into a spectacular rainforest. Seemingly, overnight, barren slopes are turned into emerald green hills, lakes and waterfalls sprout forth, and the temperature drops to a cool 68 Fahrenheit, 20 Celsius. That sounds cool, right? My research proves that's not the case, and that's purely speculation. I don't live near the spot, so it's hard to confirm myself. But scientists on the internet wouldn't lie, right? If you live around, please confirm if these things are true or not. Next, we have a peculiar scene straight out of a doll-filled room. In this eerie footage, one particular doll takes the spotlight. A monkey doll, casually lying in a box behind it, decides to make a move. Watch closely. The doll stands up straight, gazes at the ceiling, surveys the room, and in a rather unsettling way turns to look directly at the camera. With an eerie twist of its head, it then nonchalantly goes back to lying on the box as if nothing out of the ordinary just happened. It's like a scene from a horror movie, right? Dolls coming to life. Now, these kinds of videos can be tricks or staged for fun, but it sure gives you a spooky vibe. Anyway, what do you think is going on with that monkey doll? Humans are not the only weird things out there. Don't believe me? Well, take a look at this footage. Someone captured this scorpion-looking insect on a dead grasshopper. I don't know if it was eating the grasshopper or not, but this insect looks like it could cause some damage. After some digging, someone mentioned it was a scorpion fly. Before the name misleads you, these insects are not real flies. They're part of the Mecoptera order. They got the name scorpion fly from the male's private parts, which can look like a scorpion stinger. Now, scorpion flies are usually scavengers or predators. They chow down on all sorts of stuff, including dead insects. As you can see with this presumably dead grasshopper, it's likely just having a meal, either cleaning up the grasshopper or maybe it's having it as a snack. It was great to have solved the mystery, but after some more reading, I realized that there are some slight differences between an actual scorpion fly and what's on the screen. This looks like it actually has a scorpion body while the scorpion fly doesn't. Has anyone out there encountered any of these things? Care to confirm if they actually look like this? If you can, please do so. We'll be reading in the comments. Here we have another wonder that was captured in the night sky of Panama City. If you watch carefully, there appears to be a peculiar glow emanating from behind the clouds. Many who saw it had the impression that it could be originating from some sort of unidentified flying craft. While sightings of UFOs or unidentified flying objects are not a new phenomenon, they still manage to grab our attention and leave us in awe. With the footage available, it's hard to determine what exactly this could be. This one, for instance, has the paranormal community divided. Some are convinced it is truly a UAP, while others are seeing nothing more than a video manipulation meant to mislead. Now, I'd like to hear your thoughts too. What do you think about this sighting? What do you do when you come across coins that have never been officially made and circulated by any government in the world, especially when it looks alien and seems like it could have come from an alternate reality? Well, everyone knows you record and put it on the internet. Of course, that's exactly what the one who uploaded this online did, and it created one of the most heated debates we've ever had in a long time on one of our paranormal pages. Some argued that it could have been carved by someone for the purposes of mischief, while others argued it could have been alien. Others also thought it might have found its way into our world from an alternate reality through a rift in space and time. Yes, I know, it sounds ridiculous, but it's not impossible. Upon further research, we discovered that the coin in question bears a striking resemblance to a hobo nickel, a sculptural art form involved in creating modification of small denomination coins, resulting in miniature bas-reliefs. The United States nickel coin was favored because of its size, thickness, and softness, making it an ideal canvas for artistic expression. While the term hobo nickel is generic, carvings have been made from many denominations, and it's possible that this coin is an example of this art form. However, the unusual design and features of the coin still leave many questions unanswered, fueling the debate and speculation about its origin. I don't know about you, but everyone I know hates it when toilets get clogged. But what happens when it's not your toilet, but a dam drainage? Well, you assemble your best men and start ramming it like it's no one's business. That's exactly what these men did, and after a few seconds, there was a breakthrough, literally. But you have to wonder, what kept it clogged? Well, many who saw the footage claimed many different things. One person states he can see an elk carcass come out. Another person says it's a giant chicken leg. Personally, I don't see it. I believe I'm looking at the log they are ramming the dam with. It appears to have some extra clothes at the end. Perhaps I am seeing wrong. Can you guys tell me what you think? Next, we have an eerie scene from a school in Pune, India. The footage shows us a group of students and a teacher seemingly trying to restrain a girl, but here's where it takes a hair-raising turn. The girl's body starts contorting in strange and mind-boggling ways while defying gravity. Yeah, she's actually levitating. That claim she's being possessed. Now, we've seen our fair share of orchestrated footage, but something about this sends a chill down the spine, making it hard to dismiss. So could this be a genuine case of possession, or is it just another well-crafted act? Now here we have another close call with an elevator. This footage was taken from the security camera in the elevator. A man and a woman were riding in an elevator going about their day when suddenly things took a terrifying turn. As the woman exits the elevator, the man remains inside using what appears to be an iron rod to prop the doors open while he retrieves his belongings. But fate has other plans in store. In a hard-stopping moment, the elevator doors begin to close with the iron rod still wedged between them and the man's foot, precariously positioned. Before anyone can react, the elevator lurches into motion, threatening to trap the man's leg in its unforgiving grasp. With lightning-fast reflexes, the man manages to free his leg from the impending danger, narrowly avoiding a potentially disastrous outcome. As the elevator grinds to a halt, he proceeds to pry the rod out, and as you can see, the metal is bent. This man was really lucky. Is Bigfoot dangerous? Well, most would probably say no, but there are still some who think the big guy is. The assumption is that the big guy loves to avoid people but is still very territorial and would protect his home. Some have shared accounts of them being attacked. Our next clip is one such account. This was recorded by a man who ventured into the woods to find the big guy. His trip met an unexpected twist when a stone was hurled toward him. The rock hit him on the head, causing him to lose consciousness. Despite this, his phone continued to record and it captured strange, eerie sounds emanating from the forest. The sounds were like howls and growls that echoed through the woods, leading him to believe that it was Bigfoot who had attacked him. This deviates from a lot of the things that we know about the big guy. The stone attack? Really? Bigfoot? Forgive me, but sometimes things like this are just a hard pill to swallow, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. In fact, the authenticity of the clip is being questioned. Even if the clip is the real deal, some think there might be another creature responsible for the attack. What do you guys think? Next, we have this strange clip. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's a strange-looking entity floating around. It looks like the jelly-like UFO that has been appearing in the skies lately. And get this, there have been multiple sightings of these jelly-like beings in different places. According to the reports, they just descend from the sky and float around in the dark. The big question is, what on earth could these things be? Are they all connected, or are we dealing with some next-level otherworldly entities just casually chilling in the night sky? Or could it be? Could it actually be that they're mapping our planet? You know what, I'm gonna stop here before I actually figure this out and get abducted. And before we move on to the next clip, what's your take on these mysterious jelly-like night floaters? Tsubame, a Japanese startup, has rolled out a manned robot named Archax, which is designed to accommodate one person.
で、基本的に26の関節がありまして、コックピットの中から操縦することが可能。
The hefty device weighs in at 3.5 tons and can reach a maximum speed of 10 kilometers per hour. Inside, there are screens and controllers for the pilot to navigate the robot. The creators believe that these devices have endless applications in disaster relief and the aerospace industry, envisioning Archax as a versatile tool in these fields. With a price tag of $3 million and plans to produce at least 5 of these robots, we can agree that it's a bold step into the future of manned robotics. What's your take on this high-tech creation? Do you think Archax could revolutionize disaster response and aerospace tasks, or is it a bit too futuristic for its own good? Back in 2014, Dennis Coleman was out in the woods when he decided to take a picture of what he thought was a tree branch using his trusty Motorola flip phone. However, right after taking the picture, he heard a strange, loud noise on his right side, which made him turn around. When he got home, he decided to take a closer look at the image he had taken and noticed that there was indeed something in the tree that he had captured. Thanks to modern tools today, he decided to upscale the image and use manual editing to adjust the contrast and balance, which resulted in the image we see today. According to Dennis, the image shows something that was not a tree branch. He believes that he might have captured an image of a Bigfoot. When the image was shared, some claimed that it was indeed a Bigfoot, while many others remained skeptical about the whole thing. Some even told him it was nothing more than a monkey. Dennis disagrees, and we can see why. Looking at the image, what do you think of it? Do you believe that Dennis might have captured an image of a Bigfoot, or is it just a monkey? Now, let's take a look at something more supernatural. This is an alleged image of Jesus Christ, the most popular and important figure in the Christian religion. In the footage, the image shows the picture of Jesus with his eyes closed, but after a while, the image opens its eyes and you will see tears coming from it when you look closely. There were some who thought this was demonic and evil. Their interpretation is rooted in a belief in the supernatural and the presence of forces beyond our comprehension. Many, however, brushed it off as a trick of the light, an optical illusion, if you may. After a second and third look, well, I'm tempted to believe this is the case. What do you guys think? Take a look at this chilling footage from a security camera that reveals a perplexing and hazardous situation. In the video, an enigmatic smoky substance begins to blanket the road, covering the area in an eerie haze. After a while, a car nonchalantly pulls onto the road. Within moments, chaos erupts as the entire area is engulfed in flames. Now, what seems like harmless smoke or fog earlier turns out to be a gas leak. It looks like a tiny spark from the car or somewhere nearby decided to play with fire, literally. Gas leaks are often odorless and invisible and can pose a significant threat when undetected. The sequence of events captured in this video emphasizes the need for vigilance and prompt action in the face of potential hazards. Just a quick reminder before the next clip comes, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, could you do so right now? You wouldn't want me to send a Bigfoot after you now, would you? In this next footage, we have this lone cloud hovering above a vicinity, and guess what? It doesn't exhibit your typical cloud behavior. No, but this one's doing something strange. It's rotating in the sky and not at the leisurely pace of your regular clouds.
Te hubieras ido por ahí para que lo tomáramos mejor. Para que viéramos exactamente qué es.
With all the UFO chatter buzzing around, some are convinced this isn't just a cloud putting on a show and that it might actually be a UFO in disguise. I'm all for the alien encounter stories, but what do you make of it?
Para que lo tomáramos mejor. Para que viéramos exactamente qué es.
Next, we have another alleged Bigfoot encounter that was shared on Reddit by a hiker in Vancouver Island. Let's take a look. She was on a route when, according to her, she spotted this creature ahead in the trees. The creature had its head poked out from some bushes, but the rest of its body was hidden. It had this grotesque look, very different from the usual description of the Bigfoot we know. According to her, she was so terrified she managed to get just this image. Just look at the face. Do you think this is indeed a Bigfoot we're looking at, or yet another cryptid altogether? If you thought that was odd looking, then I wonder what you'd make of this one. Someone found this strange-looking sandy ground. There was a round patch of sand on the ground that looked like it was boiling. The person filming put bricks into it, and it went right in. What could this be? Now, I'm not saying there's a sand-dwelling creature with a penchant for building materials, but hey, stranger things have happened. It's like we've stumbled upon the lair of some ancient desert guardian ready to gobble up anything that dares to disturb its sandy slumber. As much as I love my monsters, I don't think that's what's happening here. Does any one of you know what we're dealing with here? Kindly share in the comments section. Now buckle up for a trip back to 1996 in Brazil. You see an alien when you look at this too, don't you? The story behind this is that the Brazilian army shot down a UFO and it crash-landed in Varginha, Brazil. As the military swung in to investigate, they stumbled upon this creature. A peculiar-looking one, which is almost reptilian in appearance and towering at about 7 to 8 feet tall, lurking around the woods. The soldiers managed to capture the mysterious being, but details about what happened next or where it was taken remain shrouded in mystery. Can't say that surprises me, but having seen the clip, what do you think? Is it truly an encounter with an alien, or is someone trying to mislead us? For the record, Aaron believes this is real. What about you? Still on the strange objects in the sky, this rectangular-looking craft was captured cruising through the skies. After seeing it, I concluded that with technology getting more advanced by the day, it could be a secret human creation yet to hit the public stage. I was also very certain it could be alien with all the extraterrestrial chatter going on these days. Julius came, read my notes, and stated it was a B-Wing from Star Wars. So either the Star Wars craft was real or someone is just trying to mess with me. Which do you think it is? And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Before you go, with there popular trail cams you've come across that you think we should absolutely feature on this channel? Please tell us in the comments section. And if you personally have odd footage you recorded yourself, you can forward it to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do the needful analysis and include it in our next episode. We'll also give you credit, unless, of course, you want to remain anonymous. We can't wait to receive your clips. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. Next, we got a rather peculiar clip that I came across recently.
This is the original Elf on the Shelf, brought back from Ireland nearly 100 years ago.
The person in the clip believes that what he has in his possession is a leprechaun. It was apparently brought from Ireland a century ago. Do you remember the popular holiday tradition of Elf on the Shelf? During the Christmas season, a popular tradition involves placing a small elf doll, often referred to as the Elf on the Shelf, in different locations around the house each day. The premise is that the elf is sent by Santa Claus to watch over children and report back to him each night on their behavior. This person has something similar, a mummified elf-like creature that they display every Christmas. The creature is quite unsettling with its dried skin and teeth. The man who brought it home claims that strange things happen whenever the creature is displayed, from flickering lights to strange noises. It feels as if someone is always watching you. The overall experience, according to him, is quite eerie and unsettling. Now let me ask this question. Is it worth having such a thing in your home? Here we have another reported Bigfoot sighting. It was allegedly taken with an infrared trail camera. The picture shows a bipedal cryptid walking with an estimated height of at least 7 feet and with noticeably thick muscles in the chest area. The capture is unusually white, which might be due to the technology used to capture the image. Naturally, the comment section of the original post was a battlefield between skeptics and believers. One commenter argues that it is cropped CGI image. Another unbeliever says that the whole thing is a hoax because someone else also claims to have the very same image. Frankly, it's hard to say which side is right, but myself and my team leans ever so slightly on the possibility of it being a hoax. What do you think? All right, let's move on to another odd one. If you pay attention to the footage, there's this strange creature floating in the river. It has this wing-like thing that flaps in the water as it swims. The big question that's on everyone's mind, what are we looking at? To that, the answer is simple. We don't know. Some mentioned it could be an undiscovered water-dwelling species, or perhaps an extraterrestrial being taking a leisurely dip in our waters. While these sound like a stretch, they're nothing compared to those who think it's a Pokemon. Personally, I don't know what to make of it, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on this aquatic mystery. What are we looking at? A river dweller with a unique swimming style, or a visitor from outer space making a pit stop for a swim? Now, let me share a tale that will send shivers down your spine. A home security camera picked up this eerie footage that has left the homeowner spooked and on edge. In the footage, the homeowner steps into her car looking for a lighter, but little does she know something ghostly is about to unfold. A spectral figure materializes out of thin air near the building, strolling across the camera's view, only to vanish into the bushes on the other side. Here's the kicker. The homeowner herself didn't witness or notice a thing. It was her furry residents, that is, her dogs, that set the alarm bells ringing. One of them even gives chase after the ghostly entity until it mysteriously fades away. What's your take on this spooky home security saga? A ghostly apparition or just a well-timed play of shadows?
Alright, so I don't know what's going on. We're back in Greece, by the way, alright?
What
But
the fuck is this?
like, what is going on? I never saw this since I'm here.
Greece, land of the gods and stunning sunsets. But this footage? It's like stepping into an alternate reality where everything's been doused in a fiery orange hue. At first glance, you might think someone's gone a little overboard with the Instagram filters, but hold up. The person behind the camera insists that this is the real deal, with no filter in sight. So what in the name of Zeus could be causing this surreal scene? Some speculate that it could be a sandstorm, a natural occurrence known to envelop landscapes in a swirling cloud of dust and sand particles. The orange tint could be the result of sunlight filtering through the dusty atmosphere, painting everything in its path with a warm amber glow. But there's always room for speculation in the comments section. What do you think it is?
No, it looks like a video game. There's no filter on nothing.
Nature is an enigmatic force which can be both awe-inspiring and intimidating. One such instance of this duality can be seen in the footage where large rocks slide from the side of the road over the railings and then onto the road. The sheer size of the rocks and the speed at which they move are enough to send chills down anyone's spine. Despite several bystanders filming the incident, there seemed to be no way to stop or mitigate the damage caused by the rock. It's in moments like these that we're reminded of nature's raw power and the fact that we're just mere mortals in its path. In another instance, we see the asphalt on the road assume an unusual shape, almost as if it were boiling. This piques the curiosity of a passerby, and upon closer inspection, a man pries open one of these pockets to reveal a massive stone. So underneath all these pockets are stones? What phenomena is this? Let us know if you have any idea of what this could be in the comments section below. This spectacular event unfolded in Mendoza, Argentina, where a meteor allegedly descended from the skies and crash-landed. When the residents went to check out the site, this is what they found: a smoking rock. When a meteorite impacts the Earth, it can generate intense heat and potentially cause a small explosion upon impact, leading to smoke or dust, as you can see with this one. But one thing that doesn't add up is the absence of a crater. Meteorites typically leave craters when they reach the Earth's surface. The area around this rock clearly looks undisturbed, which makes Julius think it's a fake. Is someone trying to get their 5 minutes of fame, or is there more at play here? Share your thoughts. A man is strolling through the forest, casually filming, when suddenly he spots something that sends him sprinting for his life.
Aujourd'hui. Donc je retourne à la maison.
The creature responsible, not one to be outdone, decides to join in on the chase, leaving the poor man absolutely terrified. Now everything happens so quickly that it's almost like a blur, but when you slow it down, there it is, a pale, almost white creature. It appears to be similar in height or possibly taller than the man. It also has hollow eyes with a mouth wide open. It's got that classic alien vibe. Most alien sightings are peaceful strolls through the woods, but this one, it's got some serious aggression going on. Luckily, the man has some serious sprinting skills. Who knows what would have happened if this extraterrestrial speedster caught up? What's your take on this spine-chilling encounter? Real alien encounter or a well-executed forest fright? Have you ever come across someone whose eyes appear to have water and sand in the retina? No? Watch this. It looks like the individual's eyes contain a whole new world, doesn't it? A part of me wanted to think this was probably fake. My team and I did a little combing through the internet and discovered this could be due to a rare eye condition called haliosis asteroids. It's a condition characterized by the presence of small, white or yellowish star-shaped formations in the vitreous humor, which is a gel-like substance that fills the back of the eye between the lens and the retina. These formations are known as asteroid bodies and can give the impression of water and sand in the retina, leading to a striking visual effect. Haliosis asteroids is a relatively uncommon condition that usually develops in people over 50 years of age. I know what you're thinking. Does it mean that they're blind? Well, the answer is no. In fact, most people with this condition are unaware of it unless they undergo a routine eye exam or have a close examination of their eyes. Take a look at this response from a post discussing the same condition. The exact cause of haliosis asteroids is unknown, but it's believed to be related to the aging process and the accumulation of certain proteins in the vitreous humor. While there's no specific treatment for haliosis asteroids, it's not a cause for concern as it does not affect vision or require any medical attention. What do you guys think of the condition, though? Now, this is like a death trap. Did I say like? This elevator door just came off while the elevator was moving. You can see that there is movement behind the doors, but it does seem like that is the elevator room. It's not often that you see this happen with an elevated door, and if this can happen, then anyone who uses the elevator certainly isn't safe. We don't have much context to the footage, but we can only hope that there were no casualties. If this clip did anything, it reaffirmed my phobia of elevators. A hunter set up a trail camera in the woods to capture game when he retrieved this device that revealed something unexpected. In the clip, we see a police officer cautiously walking through the woods holding his gun in a vigilant position. Shortly after he passed the camera lens, a strange beast appeared. The creature had a height of at least 8 or 9 feet with fur all over its body. Naturally, all who saw it believed it was a Bigfoot. The mystery lies in whether the policeman was hunting down the creature or if the creature was stalking the officer on patrol. With limited information on the footage, all we can do is speculate. What are your thoughts on this intriguing scenario? Something rather wild and interesting. This man was walking through the woods while filming when he unknowingly captured footage of a creature walking behind him. The creature was bipedal and had fur all over. It was furry from head to toe. Critically analyzing the footage, it appears the creature was moving from one side of the forest to the other when it was unknowingly captured by the camera. Fortunately for both parties, it wasn't until the man got home that he realized he'd captured something. It's no doubt that this creature fits the typical description of a Bigfoot. I'm not saying this isn't authentic, but Believe me when I say there's no way you'd miss a creature of that size if it was just a few meters from you. Even if you somehow do miss it, I doubt it'll miss you, but what do I know, right? This next one has gone viral in recent times. It features a very peculiar object that was spotted in the night sky. The object in question is triangular and has 3 round lights, one at each point. No one who's seen this clip can state with certainty what it is. Many speculations are flying around though. Interestingly, a majority of commenters speculated that the object could be a TR-3B. For those unfamiliar with it, TR-3B is a highly secretive aircraft often mentioned in conspiracy theories and UFO lore. According to these theories, the TR-3B is a triangular-shaped craft that's equipped with advanced propulsion and stealth capabilities and is supposedly developed by the United States government's black budget programs. However, there's no concrete evidence to support the existence of the TR-3B. What are your thoughts on this mysterious object in the sky? Do you believe that the TR-3B could be a real, top-secret aircraft, or is it just another urban legend? Right when you think you have seen it all. A group of individuals stumbled upon a strange and unsettling creature while exploring a secluded area. The creature was lying on the ground, motionless, with its face and flesh resembling that of a pig. However, upon closer inspection, it became apparent that its lower half was shaped like that of a fish. The creature's mouth was agape, with its tongue sticking out and its sharp teeth on full display. What made this discovery even more disturbing was the fact that the creature bore the unmistakable stamp of a meat factory. Scientists and food factories may be experimenting with and creating meat from these mutated creatures for human consumption. The thought of such a practice is truly horrifying. What do you think about this discovery? Do you believe that we should be more cautious about the food that we consume? These days, all you hear is aliens, aliens, aliens. People spotting extraterrestrial creatures here and there. Take a look at this footage. Gravediggers dig up a grave expecting some valuables, but what do they find? A tall, gray alien, eyes wide open. Now here's where it gets unsettling. The creature starts moving. The big questions hit you like a UFO sighting. How long has this otherworldly visitor been enjoying a nap in the grave, and what in the universe could explain its sudden wake-up call? Well, here's a different take on a night at the club. Forget the energetic beats and wild dance moves. In this peculiar scene, instead of people hitting the dance floor, they're opting for a more laid-back approach, lying on the ground. It's a departure from the typical club scene, and you might find yourself thinking, what's this all about? It's a bit on the boring side. Perhaps these folks are embracing a more relaxed vibe or have found a unique way to enjoy their night out. Different strokes for different folks, I suppose. Try not to let the cat touch me.
A hidden secret of Port Phillip Bay has been revealed during an extraordinary underwater encounter off Mornington.
Animals are fascinating creatures that never cease to amaze us with their intelligence and behavior. They have a unique way of communicating and interacting with us, and we're still trying to understand their world. Take a look at this encounter. A diver had a unique encounter with an octopus while deep in the sea. The octopus approached her and latched on her hand, motioning her to follow it. The diver followed the creature, and according to her, the octopus would swim ahead of her and turn to make sure she was following. The curious and friendly octopus led the diver to what looked like a grave on the seabed. On the grave, there was a picture of a man and his dog, almost as if the octopus was trying to convey a message to her. Naturally, the encounter was a fascinating experience for the diver, who was left in awe of the octopus's intelligence and behavior. Remarkable, don't you think? Next, we've got another fascinating video that shows a line of shrimps seemingly striking a yoga pose, which left me baffled. How do you even teach shrimps this? I started thinking this has to be the work of some sort of animal or shrimp whisperer. I did some digging around, however, and I discovered that the footage was a cleverly planned reverse video. It's embarrassing, I know, but you can't really blame me, can you? We see weird things all the time, and you have to admit it's amazing how such simple editing can create such an intriguing illusion. Now, Julius and I love wild, exotic animals, so we make it our job to search for them and adore them. But even we don't know what this is. It looks like a mix between a bat, a sloth, and a primate. On second thoughts, you could even throw a badger in the mix of animals it looks like. We did a lot of digging, and some individuals thought it might be a long-haired macaque, but our research proved it wasn't. We've done a lot of cross-referencing, and nothing is convincingly similar. Has any of you encountered anything like this? Can you help out with its name? Thanks a lot. The riveting discovery. Someone spotted some movement in a river, and upon closer inspection, this is what he found. No, you're not imagining things. That's an actual lobster, and a colossal one at that. A giant making waves in the water. If you pay attention to the clip, you'll realize that its size is not the only thing that sets it aside. No, take a look at its eyes. Those blood-red eyes certainly will. It's like something out of a deep-sea horror. Nature has a knack of throwing curveballs at us, and this lobster is no different. I know it sounds crazy, but I'd actually want to see this. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this river-dwelling giant with its intense ruby-red eyes? Speaking of strange, take a look at this security footage. As you can see, it's night and the streets are empty. Then, from across the street, a dark entity is seen walking by, but then it stops midway and turns to look at something. Then a man in a hoodie appears, not knowing he's being watched. The hooded man goes to someone's car, opens it, and takes some stuff. While he busily searches the car, the entity starts to walk towards the thief in the car. Before he can get close, however, the man takes what he wants and proceeds to run away. And that's when things get odd, because the entity realizes it and also chases after him. This is such a strange situation. Through the whole ordeal, the man is not aware of the entity's presence. So what was that entity? Is it some sort of supernatural police? Did it catch up to the man? What did it do when it caught up with him? What if I told you that the world's strongest man has got nothing on the man I'm about to introduce? Think I'm joking? Well, take a look. Yup, that's a man carrying a rock that appears to have been hewn from a mountain or something of that sort. It's not every day you get to see someone carrying one of those, since heavy machinery is typically the appropriate thing to transport them. Could this be how the pyramids were built? Well, Julius doesn't think so, and I agree with him. And no, the stars didn't align and the world is not ending. I just think he looks too comfortable to be carrying something like this. It has to be a prop. There's no way this is real. If it was, it would have reflected in his movement. Either that, or he's so strong that he doesn't need to. What do you guys think? I know you're waiting for the next clip, but my new friend Bigfoot asked me to ask you if you have liked and subscribed. If you haven't, please do so now. Thank you. A man was driving through the neighborhood enjoying the tranquility of the surroundings when he spotted another man walking on the pavement, pushing a baby trolley that was engulfed in flames. Tell me that won't freak you out if you see it.
What the f*** are you doing? What are you doing? Fire. Are we fire?
Intrigued by the peculiar sight, the driver decides to stop and ask what he's doing. To this, the man responds, "Fire." His response and appearance show he's not okay, but what could be wrong with him? Some are thinking maybe he's on something, while others are asking, could it be mental health stuff? No matter the reason, everyone can agree on one thing. Seeing a guy calmly walking around with a flaming trolley is just downright bizarre and a little heartbreaking. Just a quick reminder before the next clip comes, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, could you do so right now? You wouldn't want me to send an alien after you now, would you? Now let's dive into this auditory mystery.
Listen.
Whoa.
Stay inside, baby.
Picture this. A woman steps out of her home near Cheyenne and, surprise, she hears these strange noises echoing from who knows where. It's like a mysterious soundtrack of a movie, but happening in real life.
What the fuck is that? Okay, but really, what the fuck?
Now here's the twist. It's not the usual mysterious trumpet sounds from the clouds. This is a whole new level of sonic mystery. And guess what? It went down recently on the 2nd of February 2024, to be precise. Now what do you think is causing these unexplained sounds? Is it just nature playing tricks, or maybe a signal from the unknown? Share your thoughts.
Wait for it.
AI is everywhere now and involved in everything now that we basically can no longer imagine a future without some sort of AI. But is AI as safe as we think it is? Before you answer, watch this footage. Yes, those are AI robots sitting in a game. While many think this is cute and represents an advancement in the human race, you have to agree that it could be also dangerous. I mean, what if these things turn on us and start attacking? Who would be there to keep us safe? Venturing into an abandoned cave can indeed unleash surprises, and it sounds like this couple got more than they bargained for. They were on a hike in the mountains when they heard a noise coming from the cave nearby. Now, most folks call it a day, but not these two. They decide to soldier on. As they went further into the cave, the noise strangely stopped, but they still decided to check it out, and what they saw scared them out of the place. There, emerging from the darkness of the cave, was a creature with glowing eyes. It was very slender and tall and made a strange ticking sound. What could they have seen in the cave? Logically, there could be several explanations. It might be a creature native to the cave, perhaps a type of animal adapted to low-light conditions. Looking at its features, however, I'm pretty sure it's something sinister. A home security camera captured this clip of a strange entity zooming past the cars outside. It's like a glimpse into the unknown right in the driveway. The big question now is, what in the world could that entity be? A neighborhood ghost out for a joyride, or maybe just a high-speed extraterrestrial commuter? This footage is like a snippet from the Twilight Zone caught on camera. If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode. Talking of different, a guy finds himself in the underground piping, and the big question is, how in the world did he end up there? Did he leap a large drain or perhaps attempt a daring self-flush down the toilet? The good news is no one got hurt, and the guy was safely removed from the pipe. But the mystery remains. What's the origin story of this unexpected plumbing expedition? Speaking of conspiracies, take a look at this footage from Utah. What comes to mind when you see this capture? And no, I'm not referring to the X trail in the sky, although that's also a tad suspicious. Look closely toward the middle. Do you see the dark being or creature there? Yep, the individuals who sent this in accidentally captured it and shared it online. Once they did, it didn't take long for another individual who had explored the area to share this footage. I don't need to tell you who this is, right? This big guy has apparently been living in and exploring the area. It's been captured one too many times by explorers, and it doesn't seem to care. It probably feels like, well, no one will believe those sharing the clips and footage because Bigfoots aren't real. Just like some of you are struggling to believe if this is real or not. So this next one was sent in by a man who heard a lot of commotion in his backyard and went to investigate. Take a look.
I hope not, because it's almost falling apart. It wouldn't be very safe, but I'm going to come out here and have a look around and see if any of the neighborhood kids are messing around or anything. I'll get quiet here for a second.
You saw it too, didn't you? There was a hidden figure on his roof. It appeared to be dark and humanoid. In fact, it was almost human if not for its dark skin et al. Many who saw this thought it might be a Bigfoot, but I disagree. I don't think it's large enough, even for a juvenile Bigfoot. If it was, I don't think the frame could have held it. Also, I haven't known Bigfoots to be that acrobatic, but, well, maybe that's just me. What do you guys think we could be dealing with here? An unusual bit of footage. The footage immediately brings to mind Zootopia. Let's watch. A humanoid white rabbit is captured standing directly in front of the camera, donning a white top. Although Zootopia is a work of animation and far from reality, this trail camera image nudges the thought that humanoid animals might be concealed in the shadows. As enchanting as it is to imagine a world where rabbits stroll around in stylish attire, we're dealing with a simple truth here. This isn't a fantastical humanoid creature. No magic here, just some good old-fashioned costume fun. It's all in the name of imagination. A clever someone decided to don a rabbit costume and give us all a chuckle. We're sure the costume's individual noticed the trail camera and wanted to mess around with its owner. But you and I are much more intelligent than that. We know there's nothing magical or paranormal happening here as much as we'd love that. What would you have done if you were the owner? This unsuspecting moose was peacefully going about its business at night when a pair of luminous eyes suddenly manifested behind it. The eyes emit an eerie glow from the trees situated behind the moose. The trail camera's owner, who captured this footage, was genuinely intrigued and utterly baffled by the sudden appearance of those eyes. Considering their significant size, it's rather uncommon for any animal to stalk a moose. The primary predators of moose, such as wolves and grizzly bears, typically target moose calves due to the substantial effort required to bring down an adult moose. This further deepens the mystery and leaves us with a myriad of unanswered questions. Who do those eyes belong to? Could we be dealing with bears or perhaps wolves? While these explanations might seem logical, the paranormal community begs to differ. In fact, many in the community are swaying toward the intriguing possibility of the creature being a Bigfoot. What are your thoughts, though? In Georgia, a pair of famous YouTubers set out into the woods to investigate an old abandoned house. When they got there, the house was empty with not much to film, so they decided to look around. This led them to the lower part of the house. As they were there, they heard footsteps coming from the house above them, which was strange because they were the only ones present.
So that's a 1958 Coke bottle, right?
What is that?
So they crawled out of there only to be met with silence and emptiness. Who was that third person they heard? Was it the ghost of the former resident of the house, or was it a spirit present? Before you watch the next clip, could you please hit the like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment? If you haven't already, it goes a long way to make it possible to create more videos for you. Thank you for doing so. Moving back to today's episode. Have you seen a ladder take a walk? Well, if you haven't, today's your lucky day. Take a look. Yup, that's a ladder walking away. At some point, my assistant thought it was just the wind, but the wind won't move it in the way it did unless there was some invisible person working it out. We slowed the footage to try and see if there was any strings attached to any of the legs, but we couldn't find any convincing patterns that would establish it. We were left to accept that the ladder is indeed walking. How is it doing that? We wish we knew. Perhaps some things are best left a mystery. Next, we have this peculiar-looking creature that was sighted near a village pilfering food. It appears to have a skin disease and a lengthy tail with some degree of hair. In a world where mysterious creatures seem to be making a comeback, our minds naturally start to wonder. Could this be one of those unexplainable enigmas that have slipped through the cracks of conventional understanding? As each Trailcam and village sighting reveals new surprises, it's difficult not to consider that this creature could be more than it seems. But if there's more to it, what could that more possibly entail? Is it a mutated creature? A sick one? A paranormal being? Alien? But hold on, did I just mention aliens? Maybe I'm getting carried away, but you catch my drift. What do you think we're dealing with here? Tell us in the comments section, as we'd love to hear it. In the heart of the woods, firmly attached to a tree during a mission, two men are about to find themselves face to face with a black bear. Reviewing the footage captured by one of the tree climbers, we observed two black bears scampering up a tall tree as if fleeing for their lives. Meanwhile, two explorers are securely fastened to the tree, calmly watching the spectacle unfold. One bear ventures remarkably close to the man, while the other secures a presumably safe position. The curiosity of the first bear is evident as it tries to comprehend how these humans approached in the tree without adopting a similar awkward stance. The man closest to the camera appears unperturbed by the black bear's presence, even sharing a momentary giggle as the bear reaches their level. However, the second explorer displays discomfort and seems poised to leap should the bear make a move. Before long, the black bear begins its descent, prompting audible sighs of relief from the two men. I guess not all bears are rowdy. Some like to keep a clean slate and make a good first impression. Or basically, it's a cub and was only curious. In such situations, the danger will be the mum, and it appears these hunters knew. Kudos to them for keeping their cool. How would you have handled being put in such a position in your life? The one thing that came to mind when I first saw this footage was a nearly headless Nick in the Harry Potter franchise. This man, however, appears to not have a head at all. How is this possible? Well, it's not. At least, it's not supposed to be. So what are we dealing with here? Well, either this is something supernatural or it's pretty cool and a neat trick. Personally, I don't think it's real, but one of the comments on the original post caught my attention. Yeah, she believes it might belong to a race of beings that are just like humans, but only headless. What do you guys think? So, someone sent us this video he had seen somewhere else asking if this was normal. He stated that he'd never lived in a place with snow and found it odd that snow could be rolled like this. He thought snow was supposed to be powdery and felt the government might be messing with our weather. While I don't deny my suspicions of the government messing with our weather, I don't think this is it. I did some digging around and confirmed what I already knew. This is actually possible as long as the snow is wet and sticky and not dry. As long as these conditions are met, you should be able to roll your snow. Unless, perhaps the government paid me to feed you this conspiracy. If you can believe that. What in the world is this? This image was captured on a Trailcam. This enigmatic being sports a multitude of legs reminiscent of a spider's delicate dance. The upper half, rich brown, contrasts dramatically with the lower half, which is a striking shade of blue. It's like the universe decided to throw together a cosmic mashup of creature features, combining octopus elegance with spider-like intrigue. And the plot thickens. It's not just the color palette that's raising eyebrows, it's the sheer otherworldly nature of it all. Now, before we start packing our bags for the first contact meeting with our new alien neighbors, let's take a deep breath and step back into the realm of the plausible. As much as we want to believe in extraterrestrial creatures or a land-loving octo-spider, we might be dealing with something a bit more down to earth. Some in the paranormal community considered the possibility of a new species, yet undiscovered by science, slipping through the cracks of our understanding. Nature, after all, is full of surprises, but we don't think that this is one. We actually think this might be a CGI or AI creation. But that's just us. What do you think? I know I've already used the word today, but this next footage is the actual definition of the word. Just have a look. What we have here is an utterly bizarre sight, a peculiar object dangling from a forest branch. It resembles a skin-like pouch of sorts. As though the sight of that thing was odd enough, a head peers out of it. While we may be tempted to unravel the riddles of the natural world, one thing's for certain. This peculiar creature doesn't quite fit the mold of a domestic companion. In fact, it doesn't fit that of a wild animal at all. I know you, our audience, have a keen eye for detail when it comes to animals, and I believe that you could perhaps help decode what's happening here. Looking at the image again, a part of me doesn't feel that the creature in person is alive. I mean, look at those eyes. They don't blink, nor do they look like they have life in them. Perhaps it's just my ignorance and skepticism at play. So I look to you, sirs and Moss. What do you think we are dealing with here? Please enlighten us. We'd really like to know. Imagine being on a railway track and having a creature show up on it and refuse to move. This is what happened to these Russians who were simply going about their daily activities. We're not sure why the moose got on the track or why it's even refusing to move despite the loud horns, but you can't deny the fact that it's cute. If you were the one in charge of the train, what would you have done? Would you have been as patient as the ones in this footage, or would you have done something else? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Entering a cave and stumbling upon a pride of lions is not an everyday occurrence. It sounds like a scene straight out of a wildlife documentary. The image of these majestic creatures huddled up in a small cave opening is quite surreal. It certainly is a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence, and the one filming is very fortunate that the lions didn't see him as a threat. Even if they did, they chose to simply threaten him without attacking. Perhaps they were taking a nap after a substantial meal, or maybe they were simply not in the mood. Perhaps they also didn't want to move out of their comfort zone, as it looked like the cave offered a cool and sheltered spot for a rest. Do you remember the Miami incident where they said there were aliens at the mall? Well, this clip resurfaced online with someone claiming that this is from the Miami incident. In the clip, there are two policemen, one standing and one looking down at whatever that is. Now, the officer is holding a shield that reads, Astronomia Police, Hellenic Police. This is in Greece. It has nothing to do with the Miami alien incident. But then again, if this footage is not edited, what type of creature could that be? Our next clip is what you call a weird and strange one. This clip starts, and we're introduced to this man who puts his hand out, and it starts turning white. Obviously, this isn't normal, but then again, there's not much context to the footage, which leaves us in the realm of speculation. One hypothesis thrown in by the community is the chilling prospect of Raynaud's phenomenon. This is a condition where blood vessels constrict, typically triggered by cold weather. While that might sound intelligent, Googling up the condition will be enough for you to know that this isn't it. Others are tossing around the idea that the man applied a solvent on his hand that affects the skin, leaving it as dry as the Sahara Desert with a little discoloration. Some even state it could be a gas reaction, but even Julius is baffled and doesn't have answers. If our science was as baffled, then I guess I am too. So to the experts out there, does anyone know what might be happening here? Please do share. Have you ever had a stalker in your life? No? Take a look at this one. The footage starts with this innocent-looking woman walking into a building. Well, according to her, she went in through her garage, but stay focused. The garage isn't our primary objective here. A few seconds after she's entered, something steps out of the shadows and we can barely see its dark limbs. It's almost as though it was contemplating whether to go in or not. But stepping away from the creature's intentions, we have to wonder what exactly is that creature. What did it want and why was it stalking the woman? Given the fact that this was posted online without any mention of an accident, we can only hope the woman is fine. But seriously, what is that? Do you believe in voodoo? No? Well, how do you explain this? Yes, that's an inanimate object levitating solely on the charms of those men jumping and dancing around it. I don't know whether they're praising or worshipping, but whatever it is, it's definitely got some power to it. It's like Harry Potter without wands. Blimey. Well, I do think there's some authenticity to these African religions, and this is definitely real. Julius thinks it might just be a hoax meant to draw unsuspecting individuals in. I don't think so, though, especially because he can't explain how it's a hoax, despite his big brains. What do you guys think, though? Real or fake? Our next footage features two teenagers embarking on a nighttime adventure into the woods. During their journey, they stumble upon a white eye mask, an unusual find they couldn't resist picking up. Unfazed, they journeyed deeper into the forest, only to stumble upon another mask. This time, it was a full-face white mask suspended from a tree branch. Now, if it were me, I might have questioned the wisdom of continuing that midnight expedition, but not these brave souls. They pressed on, delving further into the woods. Suddenly, as if conjured from thin air, another mask materializes from the underbrush, sending icy shivers down their spines and forcing them to flee. But this mask was different. It bore an eerie resemblance to someone wearing it, yet the all-encompassing darkness made confirming their sight an elusive challenge. Let's ponder the possibilities now, shall we? Could this be the work of a mischievous forest spirit playing tricks on unsuspecting wanderers, or maybe it's the lingering spirit of a victim from a long-forgotten woods ritual stirred by the eerie glow of the moon? It's a puzzle, but within the paranormal community, a sense of mystery and unease has taken root, suggesting something odd and unsettling might be at play in those woods. However, we find it a bit hard to swallow. While we're all about the paranormal and eerie, this video does seem a tad fabricated, yet there's always room for doubt, isn't there? What do you think is going on here, though? Explorers often willingly take unnecessary risks in pursuit of capturing diverse footage, even though animals don't have cameras like us. I'm convinced they share our curiosity. They encounter things in the woods, whether it's during the day or night. An example is found in this intriguing video clip recorded deep within the woods under the cloak of night by a trusty Trailcam. And here it is right before us, a magnificent grizzly bear circling the very tree that holds our Trailcam. Just as you assume the bear is engrossed in its affairs, maybe hunting for a midnight treat, it surprises us all. With a sudden leap, it pounces on the camera, swiftly sending it crashing down and giving it quite the rough ride. Seems like the culprit was none other than the camera's alluring red light, a temptation that proved irresistible to the bear. Bears boast intellect and curiosity. They're skilled at exploring scents, sounds, and, believe it or not, objects too, to evaluate their potential for play or even consumption. In this instance, it seems the camera didn't capture its attention for the playful encounter. Instead, it perceived the camera as a threat and lunged at it. A display of how unpredictable these animals can be. Like we always say here, make sure you keep a safe distance when you meet these majestic beasts, no matter how tempting it is to walk up for them for a hug. While we are trying to figure out the strange creatures and phenomena that plague our world, there are also those who choose to do strange things that leave us all shocked and questioning them. This footage was taken on a train. In the footage, we see a person in a costume and heavy makeup eating spaghetti on the floor. I mean, this is a train, and I don't even want to get started on how unsanitary that is. But what is wrong with this person? Could it be that he needs help psychologically, or is he just doing this for attention? Any New Yorker with an answer? Still on Bigfoot, we travel all the way to snowy Russia for our next footage. Take a look. Now, you may not understand what's happening, but the recorder of the footage decided to embark on a journey into the snowy night to prove to everyone that the Bigfoot that they had apparently been seeing was nothing more than a hoax. Once out there, however, he started to notice these strange prints in the snow. Although skeptical, he started to record just in case there was a Bigfoot, and that's exactly what he found. Some 2 kilometers from him, he saw a creature moving. Zooming in, he recorded what you see on your screen, but of course it's blurry due to how zoomed in the footage is. He truly believes he encountered a Bigfoot. Some have called the whole thing a hoax, stating that they couldn't understand how the first footage was as clear as day and the last one was as blurry as the dark night. Quite frankly, I know zooming in could do that to footage, but perhaps that's a convenient way to explain a hoax. What do you think? Did this Russian really encounter a Bigfoot, or is he playing mind games? You might be wondering what you are looking at, but allow me to explain. This is a supposed patent for a full-body teleportation system. I don't need to explain what this is, right? The document states that this invention is a system that teleports a human being through hyperspace from one location to another using a pulsed gravitational wave traveling through hyperspace. Basically, whoever is responsible for this invention was trying, or perhaps has found a way, to teleport from one place to the other. I went through the document and realized that the patent has been abandoned. Closer scrutiny of the document, you'll realize that the patent was applied for in 2004 by one St. Clair John Q. We did some digging on the individual and realized that he's one person who has applied for many strange patents. It's even scary to mention them since his whole persona is shrouded in mystery. Perhaps in the near future we may do a deep dive on him, but until then, what do you guys think of the patent? This clip has gone viral, and not for the reasons you might imagine. Yes, she's beautiful, if I do say so myself, but that's not the reason she's gone viral. The residence where she believes thinks that she's not from this earth. She wears this white robe wrapped around her body and walks around barefooted. She walks and moves in this eerily automated manner which is so unhuman-like. The residents of the area follow her around asking her questions, thinking she might be an alien. But is she though? Well, there's a subsect of the internet that doesn't think so. They believe she's just attention-seeking, and the residents have bought into her craft and are giving her what she wants. You see the clip too, don't you? So what do you make of it? Now that's a wild wake-up call. Imagine unzipping your tent all ready to face the day, and boom. There's a deer right there giving you the morning stare down. This camper had the experience and didn't have to imagine it. Lucky guy. It's almost like Mr. Deer there is his campsite guardian waiting for him to join the great outdoors. What do you think of it? Spooky or cute? What creatures do you think we are looking at here? This footage surfaced back in 2018 from a farm in Indiana, and it shows what I can only describe as a hideous-looking creature. The body of the creature looks like that of a goat, but its long neck and strange face say otherwise. When this footage surfaced on the internet, people were quick to give their opinions about it, and given its appearance, most comments were pretty harsh. Some said the creature was the ugliest animal in the world. Others said it looked like the devil himself, while others called it the monster goat. But after a little research, we found out that this is not a monster goat or the devil himself. It's called a Damascus goat. They're a rare breed of goat with rather distinct features. This one, however, looks this way according to some because of selective breeding. Can the experts confirm or debunk this? And to end today's episode, I thought you'd want to see something remarkable.
Hi there! Oh my goodness!
Behold the Dobson fly. With its long antennas on its head and wings with intricate patterns, it almost looks like a delicate dancer as it rotates on the girl's palm.
Oh, look at the baby! Oh, she's doing the spins! She's doing the spins!
The Dobson fly is known for its striking appearance and mesmerizing movements. These insects are large with impressive wingspans and antennae that help them navigate their environment. They're agile too, capable of delicate rotations that add to their captivating charm. In its larvae stage, the Dobson fly lives underwater, feeding on other aquatic creatures. As adults, they emerge to feed on nectar and are often seen near bodies of water where they lay their eggs. Despite their imposing appearance, Dobson flies are harmless to humans and play an important role in their ecosystems. Cool, huh?
Oh, she's doing the spins! She's doing the spins! Hi! Hi there!
And with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone.